going to be a 2-1.
Okay.
A very close 2-1, but still in favor of Cryptik.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same, to be honest. I mean, as much as I have really admired everything I've seen from eINS, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cryptik take this, and I just hope that we get a close match out of it. To start with, we are going to be seeing Cryptik taking the basement.
Guys and girls, it's eINS up against Cryptik, our second best-of-3 quarterfinal here at the Rainbow Six Pro League APAC Finals. The winner moves into tomorrow's semi-finals. The loser is out. I hope it's a close one. Our first best-of-3 was amazing. Gents, take it away.
Alrighty, we will be seeing a pretty standard so far pick for the laundry and the supply room.
Yeah, so laundry and supply in Oregon is a map where both the basement and the top floor dorms are very heavily favored defense, but this is something really interesting we're seeing. We're seeing an incredibly strong presence along the meeting hall using castle barricades and mirrors, and even a mirror inside of the attic facing towards master bedroom. So this is going to make it really hard for eINS to actually take map control.
Yes, and the fact that they didn't make a whole lot of emphasis so far on reinforcements for the downstairs and emphasized on the ground floor and second floor, that is something that I haven't actually seen come out from Cryptik so far. So this should be very... very interesting.
Definitely. Nonetheless, we are seeing eINS getting very aggressive here. We've got Shin already coming in through the dining area. Arena is making his way into the lobby, and we are going to be seeing him just kind of sorting things out here, doing some drones. They are going to be meeting those drones with the mute jammers, though, so that's going to deny a lot of information and waste a lot of time.
And we'll also will be seeing as well with only one player by Revik, who will be anchoring around the objective area. The rest will be sitting around either the meeting hall or the dorms area. And with Luna Metal, so far, I'm guessing, just holding the angle and just waiting for the right moment to push out.
Yeah, so this is very much a top floor and kind of roam-heavy defense. They are going to be exhausting everything that they can to retain map control for as long as possible to deny that final push. But what's really interesting here is we're going to see the vertical play come out from Buck in order to try and flush out Ysera. That is the Ella. But we do have now Suzu is challenging. Oh, and that's Diffuser down and the Hibana down. An incredibly important pick to be taken down. Quantic just really has made it for his team. With the Diffuser down, he is just going to hold it now in Armory, and Shin has to push now from the other side of dorms.
Attackers have located a bomb.
And yes, and with Shin now going to drone up ahead, they will be potentially spotting that still same rotation hole, and will be waiting for Bandit to come out from the attic, but he will be being able to get out and clear out of that space, and making this the whole turf of the attackers.
Yeah, so absolutely. Ooh, a really nice pick there from 1Z onto Ysera. That is the Ella down. That is one of the heavy fragging operators, but we still have eINS pushing in. Finally, Quantic has drawn back, but then we have Arena managing to get a second pick onto Shin, but Quantic managed to take down Shin in the meantime. We have Revik still on the basement. It is now a 3v3.
And with 1Z still continuing to pressure from B, if Ash will be able to get that kill on Revik, that means that the full entrance to B side will be all in the hands of eINS. But the C4 will be missing. Quantic getting another kill on Arena, and 1Z finally taking out Luna Metal.
Meanwhile, the plant's actually going down. Revik managed to turn this into a 2v1, 1v1 now onto 1Z versus Revik. Plant down, and Prototype managed to get the final kill onto Quantic.
Very clever play, but at the same time very close, with Revik being the only one left and being able to just get out of sight as fast as possible to delay any kind of planned.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the last moment.
To me, this is really interesting because we saw a heavy top floor presence, but the problem was once they actually sacrificed, slowly withdrew that top floor control, they didn't have enough established presence downstairs in order to delay that time. They didn't have enough reinforcements. The reinforcements into blue weren't done, and so they just ashed through that, and then they had a long angle into the site. And they managed to smoke and ying the site fairly easily, and it just completely cut off that, that defense. We are going to be seeing, though, eINS taking their first defense round onto the dorms. It looks like we are going to be having some interesting reinforcers between the big dorms and the kids' dorms. Looks like we're going to have a heavy downstairs presence out from Odin Miso on this mirror. We are going to likely see a mirror facing into dining from kitchen. That's to completely deny any kind of vertical play coming out from the attackers and allow for some vertical play from the defenders.
I'm actually very curious how they will be playing out the downstairs defense, because as far as I remember from, I believe it was a Mind Freak match, they used to open up the front wall into the dining to have the full view into the small tower, and that gave them a massive advantage over the push. And this could be big if Cryptik will be considering to push downstairs. But so far, we'll be seeing just a double push towards the double window at the dorms, while Quantic will be doing his dark beating with the Twitch drone.
Quantic will probably be trying here to get towards that mirror and probably opening it up. But first, he is just checking showers. You do have to carefully check all of those hidey spots in order to establish that there are no roamers, and you can establish your beachhead without being worried about getting shot from behind.
Exactly, and with all of the roamers could be potentially staying around the ground floor, this could mean big for all of the flanks, as well as if the defenders are not going to establish any control of the small tower, this could mean big. But we're already seeing Quantic taking up point right at the hallway entrance.
Ysera is getting incredibly aggressive here. Oh, and unfortunately for Odin Miso, that C4 does miss. But we are seeing, I like this, we are seeing Cryptik choose to push now from the big tower, and they are going to have to contend with Prototype 1Z, who is inside the attic at the moment. Looks like Shinbagel is holding an angle onto this, trying to watch out the back. But this is quite significant because we have such a heavy defensive presence in the kitchen that is going to be denying the kids' dorms plan. It looks like if Cryptik have got their wits about them, they will be trying to go for a master bedroom into small dorms push.
What does surprise me as well is that compared to the previous...
Shin gets a really nice kill there onto Quantic. Quantic knew exactly where to look, but Shin just won that fight, and that is quite a significant start for eINS.
Again, what does surprise me is the fact that Cryptik are not going for the overly aggressive pushes like they did within their region's Pro League. And they're going for a way more paced and really steady just push. Ysera getting a very nice kill on Odin Miso, and that is mirror down and one of the holders at the kids' dorms.
Brings it to an even man count now of 4-4, but Ysera is completely aware of Shin going for the flank, but Shin managed to take Revik down in the meantime. Shin actually really pulling the weight for this team. This is exactly what I expect to see from Shin, just rotating, causing havoc everywhere that havoc needs to be caused. And now they're trying to push in from multiple sides, but with two players on this window, they're not actually going to establish any significant crossfire.
Yes, and for defense, they have a perfect crossfire because they have Shin. Luna Metal.
Luna Metal just go inside. Shin managed to pick up a third kill, and Suzu managed to get one now onto Shinbagel. It's now a 1v4. Luna Metal has got to take this. He is in the objective site now. Finds the first one, managed to, but 1Z is just around the corner. 8 seconds to go. He's got to find, and Shin gets a 4K.
Shin, what a absolute monster during this round, getting the 4K and securing all of those flexible kills, being able to rotate quickly and be able to pick up from all different angles. That was just absolutely amazing.
From what I've seen in eINS in the past, we have 1Z being an incredibly strong fragger, but it's also Shin on that roam game. Shin is just a player that knows exactly where to rotate, exactly where to be unpredictable, and it just keeps them guessing. And you know what? It reminds me of Nesk from formerly Black Dragons, now BRK, the Brazilian team. And Nesk is one of those players that you look out for on the other team, and these guys are going to be worrying about Shin playing that Ella, and they are going to be worrying about it fiercely.
Alrighty. Now we will be seeing Cryptik going now on kids' dorms and main hall defense, and I was pointing that out on several occasions when we were talking, but they do like to sometimes expand towards the Watchtower, which we will be seeing right now, but this time with a bit of extra space and extra covers in case the push into the Watchtower will be happening as well, to hold the attackers off for much longer.
Yeah, so I do really like this. Cryptik proving that they are an incredibly aggressive team instead of, like most teams, reinforcing and banding up this side here of the attic. They are actually putting a reinforced mirror, so they're playing incredibly aggressive over here. They're going to be able to completely, using that mirror, deny people from going into the top where Quantic is playing the Jaeger.
And look at the fact that they also dedicated 2 players to the Watchtower game, where they busted open at the very least 2 or 3 windows to be able to go for the outside shots. But this time we will be seeing 1Z going
So what I'm seeing here from Cryptik is that they are playing heavy around the big tower and attic, but the problem is there that is only in order to counter a B windows kids dorms push. But what happens if we see eINS decide to go for a master bedroom and an armory push, that Team Cryptik are going to be caught completely on the wrong side of the map and not in a position to let those three players influence the round.
Yeah, that could definitely be a double-edged sword for Cryptik, but at the same time, if they would be able to provide a very ability to play very aggressively and time it right, then that could work out for them the best way possible.
So we do have Shin here now coming in with the Buck, going in for the vertical control downstairs. So Buck is very useful for blowing up the floor, whether you use grenades or the shotgun itself. Just pre-firing some grenades here, a little bit of a strange way to pre-fire, but there is actually a Valkyrie in there at the moment. Ysera managed to get the first pick onto Arena. That is the Thatcher going down from Ella.
Yes, and we will be seeing a kill by Shinbagel on Odin Nisso.
So this has now turned into a 5v3. Everything that I was saying about an eINS favored match is looking to be proven wrong at the moment. Team Cryptik is showing themselves to be incredibly strong. The player above White Stairs, this is a really favorable position over here. Player above White Stairs can have a huge influence on basically every push, but Shin Bagel managed to take down Shin. There can only be one true Shin, but Suzu managed to get a trade onto Ysera. Ysera has now been taken down, starting the work for eINS, making it into a 2v4 now. Suzu just trying to pre-fire that spot above White Stairs. Shin is only one bullet away from being downed.
And this does look very still convenient for Cryptik, as Lunametal still holding the angle at the armory stairs, and Suzu just manages to bail out of there just at the right moment. The pre-fire will be coming out, and the C4 will not be connecting. Suzu manages to dodge that as fast as possible. Another pre-fire will be coming out. Lunametal will be securing that kill on Suzu. Now it's a 1v4 situation with only 1Z left. Yeah,
so Suzu pushing up down on to that mirror is not going to be favored. Unfortunately, I believe we do have 1Z in a bugged position here, so he will not be able to influence this round, even though as a 1v4, it's incredibly unlikely that he would actually manage to make this happen. Your miracles don't happen. Doesn't matter how good a frag you are. Doesn't matter if you're playing the 5-speed dash. Miracles don't happen.
Yes, that was quite unfortunate. But so far, like I mentioned initially, the defense for Cryptik worked out fairly well. The double-edged sword did end up going good. And we will be, I believe, having a bit of a technical issue. Let's talk about how was the execution from eINS on that last round.
So what happened from eINS there is they started pushing in from different angles, but the problem was every time they got picked, they didn't refrag. And the thing is that we know Cryptik are an incredibly aggressive team. So eINS, I can't remember who was playing on Buck. Shin on Buck there, pushed down into the dining, but didn't actually manage to find any kills. And when the players on his team started to fall, there was no one in a position to refrag. And that is really what came down to being a huge weakness for them. The problem with teams playing against teams that are aggressive is when they do get the picks, there's not much you can do.
So you reckon you need to have at least teammates going in duos or in at least like some sort of group, but not that scarce enough to be able to refrag.
Yeah, absolutely. In order to counter an aggressive play, you really have to refrag. I mean, going in there, having your buddy behind you, knowing that if you lose this fight, like for example, onto that last fight that we had from Suzu playing, trying to, as that Hibana pushing up the lobby stairs, trying to attack the, against the mirror. Yeah. I mean, attacking against the player on a mirror really isn't a favorable position. Yeah. And if there's someone to refrag you, then you might be able to catch the second person. Your buddy might be able to refrag you as the person peaks. But honestly, it's not really likely to happen if you just have a single person. You have to get incredibly lucky with your pre-fire timing, and it's not likely to happen. But one thing I do think is quite interesting is that we just had 2 attacker-favored rounds in a row, and then we finally had Cryptik win a defense.
Okay.
And I think that I think we had 2 defense wins. But what was quite interesting, it was actually Cryptik's downstairs hold with the aggressive hold of meeting that was unsuccessful. It was investing too much utility upstairs.
Yeah.
So it was really useful because it meant that they could completely, have control of meeting, and that, they managed to get a pick onto the Hibana. I mean, as soon as you get a pick onto a Hibana, you should theoretically win that round. You have Diffuser, you get to pick onto the Hibana.
Yeah.
They can't open the hatches. Any hatches that they haven't already opened, and you delay so much time. Even if you just completely get out of there, they've got to redrone the area, they've got to make sure there's no one there, they've got to go into it, and then they've got to execute their standard push. But because they were still upstairs, the defenders were still upstairs, they managed to get refragged.
What did actually surprise me is the fact that even though we seen the onesie push downstairs from the construction tunnel, he didn't emphasize on that push. If he would have been able to get the drop on Mirror, then that would have been a completely different round, I reckon, because that's one of the anchors down. That's your whole access to the plant, and pretty much what you would need is to have one person just rotate through the outside, through the construction tunnel, and that's your plan. And that was quite, again, unfortunate how it all played out.
I mean, I think that the attackers actually did win that round in the end. They just had the numbers because they completely overtook, and then there was just not enough of a delay. So usually what we have is we have a Mirror inside of supply closet, and a smoke playing inside of there, and you throw your smokes onto the laundry stairs as they're pushing down, and you pre-fire them through the Mirror, and it makes it incredibly difficult to plan. And that's why the basement on Oregon is so well favored in this meta since Mirror was introduced. But the problem there is that by the time that the attackers were executing their final plan, the defenders were all dead because they got picked off upstairs, and then Mirror was trying to deal with an aggressive Ashe coming from the rear. And that, you're not going to be able to watch two sides like that. And coming for a late flank when you've only got one anchor on site, it's just not going to work. So I think that Cryptik are getting, they're known for this aggression, and it's really going to work for them. But the problem is they've got to know when to tone it down. And if you're in a numbers advantage and you've taken out the Hibana and you know where the diffuser is, you go full site lockdown.
Yes.
And you just completely hold that site with whatever utility you actually invested down there. And you've got to make sure that during your prep phase you do invest enough utility down there in order to delay that final push if you are at such an advantage.
Yeah. And I also would like to point out during the Kids Dorms defense, that was a very interesting modification that they did, because you would see them having one player, let's say, I believe on Valk, playing just a couple of rotation holes, that's it. But this time they actually went for even the emphasis on the Watchtower, because they did expect that, because all of the teams have been putting research time into those matches that were played during the Pro League.
Exactly, and my critique of their hold on the Watchtower was that they wouldn't be able to rotate if there was an armory push. But the thing is that they managed to rotate anyway. They managed to rotate back through meeting, through attic, and even through the basement coming up to laundry stairs, because there wasn't enough coverage from eINS, and eINS didn't manage to counter that. And really, that is a perfect example of why Cryptik managed to make the aggression winner for them.
All right, guys. So I think what we're going to have here is a round rehost. Now, you would have seen one of the players got stuck in the wall before anything happened.
Yeah.
Is that, obviously, in that situation, there's not much else you can do other than restart, otherwise it's not fair, right?
Yeah. It becomes a 4v5, and a 4v5 in a game as an important, in a game where your numbers and your strategy and your roles are so important. As soon as you lose that Ashe, you've got to have someone else to entry frag, and you've got to completely rework your entire strategy, and it puts it as a huge disadvantage.
Right, so the fair thing to do is to bring it back and play that round again. So, which is what we're going to do, so that's why we've got this slight pause here to give us an opportunity to do that. How are we feeling about this game in general? Is it closer than we thought it was going to be? Are there any pocket strats that we've seen so far that we didn't expect?
So far, all I've been able to see was it's rather a game of defense at the moment, with both teams seem to be a bit... you could even call it sloppy on the offense, but the defense is absolutely perfectly full-fledged. And with Cryptik being very confident on their defense and, as I mentioned before, expanding, and eINS seem to be just keeping it, playing it by the book, but at the same time still adding that kind of extra spice, you could say.
Yeah, so I mean, Cryptik, when it comes down to it, Cryptik are such an aggressive team, and it's going to always come back down to this. So when they're succeeding on their aggression, like for example picking off that Hibana, it works for them. But the problem is that when that aggression gets countered by some clever counter pushes, like for example 1Z in the first round choosing to push down construction in the basement, these kinds of things completely counteract that aggression. If you put all your eggs in one basket for this kind of push, and you get someone to go, on one of your attackers comes out from the other side, then you're completely bypassing all of the utility and all of the setup that they've done, and that's where Cryptik had the downfall on that round. And it's funny because on the flip side, back when Cryptik were on defense, they managed to completely win just because of that aggressive play.
It's interesting, I think in this sort of situation, especially where in a game like Rainbow Six, where you swap back and forward from attack to defend, which I genuinely think is a great way to do it. I like that you can't get too much of a lead just because a map might be attack or defense sided. If you can lock down your defense, right, and you can have it solid, and you know that even if you're not so good on attack at the moment, you need to warm into it, that your defense, you can rely on that to keep you in the game, and you can win every one of your defensive rounds, then it allows you to just edge your way into the game, warm up, and then by the end of it, you can come in with those attacking strats, perhaps. But it looks, guys, like we're back into the action now. Let's take it away.
So we are going to be replaying that round. We are going to have Cryptik now on defense, of course, since this is a round of replay. They are going to be taking the exact same side. This is a Dorm's defense once again. Do you think they're going to do the exact same thing with their mirrors and their aggressive hold this time?
I'd say this could be quite a good chance of that. We are seeing the same reinforcement for the bedroom, where I believe Lunar Metal last time held.
So what we just saw from Yuzera was opening up that that classroom window with a double hit. When you double hit windows, it means that you can vault through them while it still appears from the outside to be completely unbroken. So it's what that is actually going to set up is a quick run out and also a quick rotate from the small dorms window, which we're looking at on the right-hand side of the screen, which we can also do the same thing to and run through. So Yuzera looks like is going to be playing a very aggressive game, just like we saw last time.
We are seeing as well Onesie pushing from the construction side. This could potentially mean that they either will try to push through the armory once again, but so far not that much of a emphasis towards the Watchtower, because they did see the presence of the defenders last time.
Of course, the result of a rehost like this, is that it means the attackers already have an entire round's worth of knowledge about the defense. So if if Team Cryptik on defense decide not to change anything up, then eINS know exactly what they're going to do, really.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, of course, eINS got completely dominated last time, but the question is, can they adapt it? And now they have an extra player. They have their main fragger prototype back into the game. But then, meanwhile, and just as I said that, Onesie managed to take down Yuzera. That is the Ella being taken down by the Ash. And Heavy Fragger. And then another pick comes out from Suzu onto Lunar Metal. That is the mute. The mute going down.
Yeah, and we already see them taking quite a whole lot of control for the upstairs as the mirror fragger is gone, and Arena getting another frag, making it a 2v5 situation, just like that. Already the adaptation.
Ooh, wow, this is absolutely amazing. We now have a 1v5 from Revik. 1 minute 30 to go in a 1v5 situation. They can completely swarm. He gets the first pick, but then he gets refragged. That was a fantastic round from eINS.
Talking about the adaptation there, that was absolutely nutty.
So what did we see just then from eINS? We saw something completely different. We managed to see that kind of two-sided push that really worked for them. Last time, we just saw Prototype come in from one side, and there wasn't really any kind of push to pinch. But what we saw this time is we saw Onesie coming in from the garage side. We saw Prototype coming in below, and then we saw that the Ying, they were just covering all of their angles, and every time someone would fall into their crosshairs, they won the gunfight. Flawless round, 5-0. We are now going to see eINS heading back to their downstairs defense. So we haven't actually seen eINS come down here yet. They did win their defense of the upstairs with some fantastic roamer play and some fantastic rotates, particularly coming out of Shin, who was, I believe, playing Ella last time. We do have a Pulse being picked this time. Pulse on Oregon.
Pulse on Oregon is a interesting pick, to say the very least.
Yeah, like, honestly, I mean, it's kind of predictable, but that kind of information gathering is really quite useful, either a Pulse or a Valkyrie. But I know teams, particularly, I would say teams like Atletico, I think, definitely favor a Pulse. You can, even from the safety of the laundry, gather a lot of information, all about the lobby, all about meeting hall, all about garage.
And another thing that Pulse would be even more beneficial on the upstairs defense, but since it's going to be a laundry and a supply room defense, this could go both ways, because you can't really go for many spots. Ooh, missing just the head. The head was just a millimeter away from death.
860 rounds per minute on that R4C, and Quantic managed to run between bullets. Very lucky there for Quantic. But yeah, Shinbagel getting incredibly aggressive up here. This is a fantastic set of aggression we're seeing coming out from Cryptik, and exactly what we expect to see. Look at this. This is just perfect. We're seeing, you know, Quantic come from the kitchen. We're seeing Revik upstairs. It's just perfect.
And we do see as well, I believe, Shin managing... Oh, no, wait. Actually, that was 1Z managing to get out of the attic at the very best timing, as we did see Revik and Ysera push over there. C4.
Arena is going to be... Oh, this C4 might actually take him down, and it does!
It does get him!
Arena with the C4 onto Revik, playing inside of the attic, but then we do have Shinbagel managing to get the first frag for his team onto Shin. That is the pulse down. But then, like, despite that, Arena managed to get back to site uncontested. Prototype seems to be playing incredibly aggressive nonetheless. Oh, I like this. We are going to be seeing Ysera using the Ying flashes. Oh, and Shinbagel managed to capitalize on that. That is taking down 1Z. Oh, and a wallbang from Ysera. Suzu managed to get taken down. It is now a 4v2. Shinbagel doing some serious work for his team, along with the rest of the players. This is a fantastic...
The flank!
Why would you do that?
The flank! Oh,
but he gets traded, so incredibly aggressive. But now look at this. Miso first, the last player for his team, 1v3. He's getting so aggressive. This is incredibly unpredictable. If he gets droned out, that's the end. The players are playing above him. Shinbagel's on the drone. Quantic takes him down. He doesn't manage to get the 2K. That was a fantastic round.
That spray down nearly scored Mirror that double kill, but just a slight change to that, and that would have been a completely different outcome, as those rounds were just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that incredibly aggressive play from Odin Miso on the Mirror at the end, I think, was definitely the right way to go. Just a slight hesitation onto seeing Shinbagel there on the drone. It's not something you'd expect, you know, seeing someone lying down in the lobby on the drone.
Especially on the drone, especially.
And so I think that made him hesitate for an extra second, and because of that, he didn't manage to get the 2K and turn it into a 1v1. So unfortunate for him, we do have now the scoreline being even, and we are seeing Team Cryptik head back to their downstairs defense. Last time we saw this, we saw them go for their heavy upstairs hold with mirrors in attic and lots of reinforcers inside of the meeting hall, and it didn't work out for them.
Exactly. But this time, I'd say Cryptik, if Cryptik are going to go for the same hold, but we'll try to maybe keep another anchor downstairs to prevent that yet another aggressive push through construction, or at the very least just emphasize on reinforcing the construction a bit more. That could mean that extra time to be wasted for the attackers.
And if you have a look at that 1Z with the drone being pre-placed inside of the gas heater, over near blue, that is like he's setting himself up to take that because he knows that that's a weakness. eINS looking to be very strong at their adaptation, and you can see already Prototype spawns on that side. He's ready to push in this side, and this kind of two-sided like push. That's what's working so well for eINS. I'm so impressed.
The interesting thing is Shin already gets and takes point in the small tower, and this could mean the extra angles with Error already making his way over to laundry stairs.
No barbed wire. This is what got them last time. A little bit of potato, but he managed to take down Revik nonetheless.
And that's the anchor down. Now Ludometal has to rotate back over to the supply room, with the rest of the Cryptik team members will have to stay on the roaming and on point. But Ludometal, talking about the rotation, gets
Arena, yeah. So the trade does come out. So Mute managed to get that trade onto Arena. But the thing is, Cryptik just aren't putting the barbed wire down. They're not covering it, and they're getting caught out late because they think, oh well, no one pushes the actual objective in the first 30 seconds, but they do when they realize that you're not defending it.
They just did it, yes. And we will be seeing now a very Quantic caught just off guard by Suzu.
Fantastic shot. He's going to come around the corner. Ysera almost gets taken off guard. The wallbang managed to injure him. He's not going to know, but he might manage to get the kill nonetheless. That is now Suzu going down. Diffuser is down, and Ysera is still alive, ready to deal some damage. Prototype is going to have to rotate, and now we're going to probably see Odin Miso head in to try and collapse down onto this Diffuser. 1 minute to go. 3v3. They still have the time to work with this.
That could still prove to be quite crucial, and with Shin still around the kitchen area, he could catch Ysera off guard.
Yeah, so you can see Odin Miso at the moment is doing a drone out of the dorm, so they know it's safe to head up into Master and pick up that diffuser. But the thing is, Ysera is playing so well and rotating with this Ela. And it means that when they drone him, he moves. And when they drone one area is clear, they've got to push in with the drones. And see Ysera sitting here in the toilets. This is the last place they would expect him. But Prototype managed to take down Luna Metal. Once again, the aggression really being a crux for Cryptik. Now we have 3v2. Shin, Shin doesn't know where Ysera is. Ysera could do a last-minute push, but what eINS have to do right now is just grab that diffuser, take site, take out Shin, the last remaining anchor, and then just cover their bases while Ysera attempts to flank. And it looks like Odin Miso is going to be heading up, ready for that smoke and plant. Ooh, Shinbagel gets it flashed here, but Ysera is about to execute this. Shinbagel managed to get the kill onto 1Z though, and Shinbagel with a second one. It's now a 1v2. Odin, oh, and Odin gets taken down by Ysera. Really interesting. This incredibly aggressive play coming out from Cryptik is such a double-edged sword, and you just can't pick whether it's going to work for them or not.
Exactly, and I did really expect Ysera to go for that flank around on Shin to finish him off, but that timing was just perfect, and wait for them to drop in and go for the attempt to cover, and Shinbagel just going big with the double kill. That was absolutely nuts.
So my interpretation of this is what Cryptik really need to nail down with their defenses is successful anchor game. And they proved that they can do it, because look at that, Shinbagel 2K. Shinbagel played the anchor and won it. And the only reason he was playing anchor is because everyone else died and someone has to defend the side, right?
Exactly.
But the thing is, if they actually do that earlier in the round and they're keeping it consistent, then that's what's going to win them the rounds. Because once you have your aggression and you're covering your bases, that's what covers it.
Now, we do see, I believe, Shin opening up the double window and the window into the small towers, so that could be the playing point for the defenders.
Yeah, so last time we saw Shin doing an incredible job on this Ela at rotating around, playing inside of small tower as well, and I actually managed to get a pick from there. Something I thought was interesting is we did have 1Z actually reinforcing the wall from dining into small tower. A little bit of a nice touch, kind of off the cuff, extra reinforcers. They know that they've been entering from there every time. I quite like that.
And we do also see the walk-in closet wall not reinforced just yet, so that could be potentially the holding point for for eINS, pardon me.
Yes, exactly. It's always a trade-off, isn't it? Like if you want to use your utility in one spot, you're going to sacrifice it from another spot. We are seeing Shinbagel here with this reflex R4C. Going to be trying holding a very tight angle, no ACOG, but is probably still very favored on this side. Shinbagel known for being incredibly nutty on this.
We do see him also wiggle on that side, just in case he's trying to, as if he's trying to tell us, like, that's where there could be.
Yep, he knows. So Shin is playing inside of dining. Ooh, Shinbagel going for some pre-fires. Yeah, cheeky pre-fires. Imagine if that was a headshot.
Very
cheeky. Calling for the Moss. All right, so Shin is still playing inside dining. I really like this. So eINS are playing really, really hard inside of dining. And it means that Cryptik are going to have to get super aggressive on that. And they're taking their time with it too. So as you can see, like you mentioned before, they've actually opened up a hole from small dorms into the master bedroom closet. And that's one of the typical plan spots. That's one of the typical entrances. And if you're in a position as an attacker to just thermite open, then you've got the cover while you do that.
Yeah.
But if it's pre-opened and you can pre-fire people who are trying to enter that, that's where you've got a significant advantage.
And we are seeing Cryptik already setting up for the double push, as already we did see Luna Metal take point in the Watchtower and just ready to clear it out. But we are seeing minute 15 left on the clock, so there's still time, but not as much to execute anything big. And Cryptik will need to start making their way closer and closer to the plans.
Yeah, there's still time to execute this push for sure, but one thing that's interesting to me is I'm not quite sure exactly where the push is going to come from, because they've tried to maintain control over big window, which cuts off rotates. They've got control over the small window that faces big tower.
Yes.
And that gives you some crossfires too, but it doesn't actually give you an in. They've taken over control of Attic, so they know that they can vault in B windows, but it looks like they might not. Luna Metal managed to get a pick now onto 1Z. That's a big player off the round. Suzu managed to get a trade now onto Revik. Ooh, the Ysera heads straight in. This kind of aggression, and he works and he takes down Suzu. We get some quick trades back and forth. Aaron takes down Shinbagel, but then Ysera gets down in the side. Quantic is now covering from big window, but the planter is down, and he just has to enter. It's now a 1v3.
It's all up to Quantic. He takes the first kill, gets another one flake on Shin, but that's just not enough. And Odin Miso will actually be able to close this out with Shin assisting with them shots. And that is the round for for eINS and Cryptik.
Yeah, another fantastic defense win from eINS. Really interesting. Like, honestly, to me, that came down to the fact that you saw eINS jump straight in and head straight into take control of Kid's dorms. And then what did he do? He peeked White Stairs. He had the diffuser. He had the bomb site. He could have planted. The only way that people can actually get in and kill him is by crossing the crossfire that we already had from the player, the Twitch, on the big window.
Yeah.
So he could have just planted safely knowing that he was covered, but went for that aggressive, and that's what I'm talking about. Cryptik managed to, he got in there because he was aggressive. He lost it in the end because he was too aggressive.
Yeah, that balance is what did really do bad, I guess, for Yuzeria, as the push did start out really well, as he got the first drop on, I believe that was Smoke. And then just, if he decided to hold angle just in the kids' dorms, that would have been a completely different turnout for that round.
Absolutely. Heading on now onto Cryptik's own defense. We are seeing them attempt this one once again. It has had mixed results for them. They didn't manage to win it last time. In fact, they got flawless on this defense, yet they are returning. They have, I like this, the Valkyrie play. Revik obviously getting some really strong cameras out, but we do have Shin already pushing into dining. Like these little melee holes that you are using as peaks. Very, very sneaky.
Yes, and they seem to have nailed down that push into the small tower, and that is just already something that is bound to happen. Well, now we are seeing Suzu already making his way over to the armory lockers, and he could be met with some heavy fire from Luna Metal. Yeah. We are seeing, Areta get tagged out pretty heavily in the garage, and Odin Miso making his way over to the south window of the White Stairs.
Yep, never underestimate that window and the power it gives you as an attacker. So what's really interesting to me is eINS looks like they might actually be changing their push. Something I'm really liking from eINS is they don't say, all right, this is where they're defending. This is where they're putting all their resources. Let's counter that and attack it head on. Nope. They say, oh, you're going to defend over there, are you? All right, well, I'll go around that. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to push my multi-directional fragging potential from multiple angles because eINS is full of strong fraggers.
And yes, exactly that. And the fact that that adaptability to Cryptik's strategy seems to be working out really well. I did also want to point out the fact that I did talk to the players, and both teams seem to be very cautious about the opposing force, because both of the teams are really strong, and with Japan being somewhat of a dark horse like Korea with not that much of a coverage, they do seem to be pretty confident with their pushes.
Yeah, really nice shot there. So yeah, absolutely. I also had a really good chat to both of these teams. Shinbagel managed to get a nice pick onto Suzu. That is the Habana down, so no more hard breach for eINS. Nonetheless, I don't think that that's going to stop them very much, as but only 30 seconds to go, 4v5. They had such a dominant round last time. Oh, Luna Metal is probably going to be flashed here, but he's not actually flashed. The C4 comes out and takes him down. Prototype managed to get a pick now. Looks like Revit trying to find Prototype, but he doesn't. He tries to switch to the secondary, and he gets taken down. It's now a 3v2. Arena falls. It's a 3v1. Shin falls. And we have Cryptik winning that defense.
With Luna Metal going absolutely ridiculously big. Look at this, 180.
Oh, that 180, that 2K was absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
Luna Metal is nutty. So Cryptik, their aggressive play is fantastic. And it's their band at the same time. But that time on eINS, what happened? eINS didn't coordinate their push. They fell one by one. Prototype managed to get in there, and Prototype got one kill, and then he switched to his secondary, and he couldn't finish the second kill, and there was no one to trade him.
Yeah, but then again, the push that Prototype already managed to get into the kids, that was surely would have meant the death of Valkyrie, but that unfortunately didn't happen, as Ash got caught with pants down mid-reload.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going to be heading now onto eINS' own basement defense. Now, so last time we saw a really interesting, kind of really interesting things happening here. So
yeah.
we saw some aggressive play coming out from Cryptik, like always, you know. And we saw eINS kind of falling back gradually, doing what I would like to call kind of an onion peel. You tell them that you're there, and then you pull back, and then you pull back, and then you catch them off guard, and then you kill them, and some fantastic rotates. And in the end, eINS did not manage to clutch it out as a 1v3. They lost this last time. This looks like it could be the final round.
Yeah, and so far, nothing that much, nothing that exciting is happening reinforcements-wise, apart from one of the hatches in the meeting hall being opened.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that hatch in meeting hall being opened is allowing the roamers for a quick rotate down, because there's kind of a sacrifice. You say, how much does it give the attackers and how much does it give us?
And looking at, talking about the aggression, finally Cryptik unleashing that kind of pushing potential. As we're already seeing two members of Cryptik already pushed in, Quantic and Shinbagel already on their way to wreak some havoc.
Yep, and absolutely, if you're a defender and you hear that R4C and you see some bullets tearing through walls, you just know you're about to get wallbanged, and it scares you, and it makes you fall back.
Actually, Shinbagel just misses the head of Shin as Pulse manages to go prone. The pre-fire game will now happen, and this could be big if the shots will connect in favor of both attackers.
Yes!
The C4 from...
Oh, no!
Shin misses the C4. And Rebek finishes him up with a shotgun as well as Arena. That makes it a 4v3 situation just like that. A very awkward and a very unfortunate series of events.
So really unfortunate for eINS there. They look so strong. Shin saw the opportunity to get a double kill with that C4, but unfortunately, he takes himself down instead and then baits his own team into reviving him. And unfortunately, that means that they're 2 players down. They managed to trade 1, but it's now a 4v3. Minute and a half to go. But honestly, if Mira's got a spare C4, yeah, and if Smoke has all 3 smoke grenades, I think that they could definitely do this the old-fashioned way. You play from the mirror and you smoke it out. And that's what we need to see from eINS right now. If eINS gets too aggressive here and gets picked off, then there's not going to be the numbers in order to sustain this defense.
Revik will be pushing up. Ooh, eINS will be moving out just at the right moment, but Suzu will be able to hold off that push with a couple of pre-fires. The hatch will be popped open. 59 seconds on the clock. And we will be seeing potentially the drops happening. No, the droning up ahead will be happening. The Zero could be potentially dropping in. Shinbagel gets the kill on Suzu, but Odin will be trading out Revik straight away.
The
plant will be happening.
No,
Lunar Metal also manages to dodge out, as well as missing the C4. He gets flashed fully. Lunar Metal gets tagged out by the pre-fire as well from Bandit. 2v3 situation. My heart can barely take it.
And it's now a 1v3. This is not looking good for eINS. Manages to get the pre-fire, but there's still 30 seconds to go. There's still plenty of time for Cryptik to keep this one back. He's got no utility in order to deny this plant. No C4, no smokes. That's all gone. It's now just him versus 3. And they're going to do a reverse push. They know that that's the way to counter this.
With now 10 seconds on the clock, Cryptik will have to be forced to push. Lunar Metal will be going up, but
that's
the shot will be happening from Ysera from the back. And that's the push. That's the win.
That was fantastic. Honestly, it's really interesting. I'm seeing a lot of things for these teams being the bane of both teams. It's this aggression. That smoke peaked and died. He had 3 smokes remaining.
And the pre-fire by Bandit as well to down Lunar Metal. That was just absolutely ridiculous how all of that played out. That was amazing.
It was an insane last round. We talked about it, how each team was winning their defensive rounds all the way through, right until it mattered. And I feel like that C4 was almost a 4-player turnaround. What went from a potential double kill on one team flipped around and put eINS in a very difficult position. 2 players down on defense. And ultimately, it feels like it could have cost them that game. Yeah,
I definitely think, unfortunately, that round is a little bit on the pulse there. But that said, Oregon, from a laundry attack, it's really easily counterable from that mirror and that smoke and that C4. And if you nail all of those things, the attackers have to have more than a minute in order to actually get their push without you disrupting it. all they've got to do and incredibly well plays. And honestly, I really think that eINS could have done that, but they got too aggressive and their smoke peaked, died without using the utility, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah. That was quite unfortunate. And the fact that on the last round, Pulse missing the C4, that did, I'd say, definitely settle that round for both teams and lost eINS that matchup,
so we
unfortunately.
do have some replays here. Fantastic C4 from Arrow Arena and a fantastic rotate off. I'm not quite sure why you're using iron sights there on the MP5S, but here we have Shin Bagel's fantastic kill. The wall bang.
The wall bang was absolutely nuts.
This was a fantastic round. Just overall, Odin almost managed to clutch this out, but you see, the level of just hesitation that came out when he saw that drone.
And you could just feel the amount of just the salt and disappointment at the fact that he didn't get that double kill. That was quite unfortunate.
Really unfortunate for him. He could have done it. And here, this is another case where the aggression was unnecessary. He gets a fantastic kill, and then what does he do? He peeks. He peeks a player on white stairs.
Yes,
and here we have Prototype gets the first frag, but can't find the second. Very unfortunate for him, and that did cost them the round in the end.
So if we talk about this match as a whole, and at the start I was saying that I actually thought that picking up this map was quite a good decision for eINS, because if you feel that maybe you might struggle against your matchup, it can be good to take your opponent's map as the first map and give you a chance to catch them perhaps while they're cold. They were close to doing that, but maybe they needed to be a little bit more confident on attack. I'm not sure. It was lacking one aspect.
It did definitely lack some the small minor changes and things, as the you could call it potato aim at the several moments did cause quite a shift in tide, and it's just small things that mattered could have made the whole game just play out completely differently. But and the defense rounds were pretty much as you mentioned as well, Ben, that was pretty much the whole settlement of the match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really unfortunate for eINS, because I'm with you on that one. I really think they could have made that theirs. Unfortunately, this is an eINS I really haven't seen before. eINS I have seen in the past is not this aggressive. And they're playing aggressive because they know Cryptik is aggressive. And the problem is they're overextending themselves. And they need to also know when to go back to the roots, when to just use your utility, and when to just, say, waste 40 seconds on your defense just by using your smokes and your C4.
Yeah, you got to be difficult. There's definite pros to trying and play your opponent's game in some situations. But overall, if one team is used to playing one particular play style and you try and match it, but you're not necessarily as confident as they are on it, over time, over the course of a map or two, they're going to win those rounds more often than you will, because they've just been in those situations more often. They played that same situation more times, and they're just better at it.
It's their home territory.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly right.
So, yeah, we are heading now onto the second map.
Dude, as we head into this, I was actually overall really impressed with eINS. People kept talking about Cryptik. Cryptik are going to make the finals. Cryptik are really going to, they're going to win this game and go up against Corvidae. It's going to be a tough match. But overall, I feel like the guys from Japan, they've turned up. They've got 2 maps to go. They need to win this one. If they can do it, we go to our deciding map. It's going to be close. I hope that they can do it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just saw the first Japanese team, Norengo, be knocked out by Mindfreak earlier today, and I would love to see one Japanese team make it through here. So, I mean, I think that eINS do have what it takes. The question is whether they have the discipline.
Yes, exactly that. The discipline and being able to connect those shots. With my only concern with this map so far is that I haven't really seen a whole lot of plays from eINS on bank, and I do know that Cryptik are fairly confident on bank as well. So this could potentially mean that Cryptik could have quite some advantage. What do you think, Dave?
I definitely think that Cryptik are in the advantageous position here. So, this is their home territory. You can see, just look at the way that they move around the map. Look at the operator picks. They're getting really keen here to do what we're seeing a lot of this season, which is Jackal being used to flush out the roamers. your Thermite open the server. I mean, this has been happening for a year. We've seen these strats on bank, but then just little improvements. Like, for example, the Ying. And I'm expecting we're going to see Ying sitting above that red hatch, throwing out those candelas to counter the person playing in the red hallway and in the vault so that they can't C4, they can't throw their smokes.
That's a good thing that you've pointed out with the pick of Jackal, as he has been very beneficial on these big maps like Bank. And he could be very efficient at tracking down those very annoying and very annoying roamers. We do see Onesie getting the kill on Revik.
I'm really impressed by Onesie here, despite being in a really awkward position. Whoa, and the Hibana goes down. Suzu managed to take down Quantic. Lunametal does trade on to Prototype, so that is Prototype out of the game. But he did his job, and he denied server control for as long as he can. And now it's only a 3v4.
Arrowinner
is still hard holding here, but with the Ying flash is going down, he is going to get taken out. What is Suzu doing? Managed to get the first frag, and managed to get a second frag.
Going big! Oh my God! The run out that did not was not expected to bring any kind of effect from it. Did bring a double kill. Now it's onto Shinbagel.
Honestly, I thought that was going to be Suzu throwing this for his team. Once again, we're seeing the utility being wasted on an aggressive play, but he managed to make it work, and then Shin finishes down Shinbagel. We're having some heavy support from the crowd here. People do want eINS to stay in this. This is a very split crowd here. I think that both teams have a huge amount of respect.
Yes, and both teams have, as far from what I can see, quite some following as well.
Yeah.
So you could say, from a certain perspective, this is a battle of two giants.
Yeah, this is definitely a battle of giants. I think this is probably one of the battles of the giants that we've seen, that we're going to be seeing today, honestly.
Yes.
Of all the matchups, this is the one that people have been talking about. This is the one where people are saying, ooh, I'm not quite sure. I mean, Cryptik is really good, but that's eINS. That's eINS that they're going against. Yeah, and I mean, so eINS just showed themselves to be so dominant. And look at that, eINS is showing almost the exact same operator loadout as they did, as Cryptik brought. The only difference here is bringing that Thatcher instead of the Ying.
Yes, and it does feel that eINS seem to still try to adapt to the old meta by using the still old operators to counter anything new, which is still a good approach with how, with the last three operators that came in, they pretty much gave an automatic buff to Thatcher and he becoming more usable. We do see Revik going for a throwout on a main lobby camera, and Odomissile will be already making his way over to what I believe could be the main entrance.
Yeah, once again, we do have a Jackal coming out. Something that's regarded as quite predictable now.
Yes.
I still remember the days it was Flipside versus G-Bots in the Year 2, Season 2 Pro League Finals that we saw Flipside bring it out for the first time, and everyone was like, what? That's Jackal? Now he's been buffed again, and it's almost a staple for Bank now.
And to be honest, Jackal also with the recent shotgun buff as well, he pretty much becomes as a pocket buck, but with even more versatility as he can scan those footprints. So that could prove quite beneficial. We do see one of the roamers, I believe that's Ysera, about to... he will be rotating back as he does sense that stuff might be happening.
Really interesting. I quite like what we see from Cryptik here. Sometimes they're right on the forefront of the meta. For example, last round bringing the Ying. I mean, that's kind of forefront of the meta. And yet, this time, no mirror. Everyone brings mirror on a basement, but no, they've opted for the maximum information gathering.
And look at this footstep galore. They will be spotting Pulse and pinging him out. He needs to come back to the objectives to keep it safe. Otherwise, he will be hunted down.
Yeah, so the thing about a Jackal is that in order to counter a Jackal, if you are playing an aggressive roam game and you do that onion peel, where you move back afterwards, then you end up making Jackal keep worrying about all these footsteps when you're actually on the basement side. So he is going to be having to look for some more footsteps here. They are droning this out. They still haven't opened up all of these hatches. Is going to be finding the Jaeger this time, but that Jaeger is in garage. So, I mean, that's good to know, but he is just going to head back all the way safe onto site.
What is interesting to me is seeing Cryptik hunker down on the objective. All of the roamers have already rotated back through the open hatches, and that could be quite interesting, as Cryptik is known once again for the aggressive plays, but maybe we'll see that later on in this round with 50 seconds on the clock.
Honestly, it was a critique that I made of Cryptik last round. Maybe takes it outside. I'm not really sure where that is, but it looks like we still have a defender playing hard in serve, and Prototype going straight for it, but Shin Bagel, fantastic shotgun. Shin manages to get a kill now onto Quantic. That is Jaeger down, but we still have Shin Bagel with this mute shotgun behind the server unit, and they're going to have to flush him out. They don't have the Ying that Cryptik used last time.
I'm getting the flashbacks of Mind Freak versus Covide with the mute shotgun, ladies and gentlemen.
Can we see a mute shotgun 4K? Aces did it. Shin Bagel, come on. You've got to earn your place in the mute shotgun Hall of Fame, but 12 seconds to go. 4-on-4 numbers are hugely up. Shin Bagel is here. There's no way they can play, but he gets too aggressive.
But Yuzera securing the double kill on Suzu, and Rebek getting the kill with the C4 on Odin Missile. Shin trades out Rebek. But Yuzera finishing off Arena, and that is the win by Cryptik.
Ooh. That was really interesting. Cryptik now showing themselves to be pretty dominant here. I mean, they did lose out that first round, but perhaps we are just going to be seeing some fairly defend-decided rounds. And I mean, the thing about seeing defend-decided rounds is that we see more bomb sites.
Yes.
Because as soon as you win a defensive bomb site, for example, lockers and CCTV, then you have to go to your secondary bomb site.
Yeah.
And once you move to your secondary bomb site, whether you win or lose, you can move back to your primary.
Yeah.
So we are going to see Cryptik, eINS, defending Tellers, which is pretty typically regarded as the next best. Something I'm kind of surprised here, actually. So we saw eINS in the for the seeding match for Japan. They played against Norengo on Border, which was Norengo's pick.
All right.
And eINS were picking the really strange bomb sites. They didn't go Armory Lockers once, and they went Customs. And Customs is not something we expect to see on Border. It's kind of the thing that people bring out once or twice as a surprise, but eINS went to it as their primary bomb site every time. So seeing eINS do the typical thing here on Cryptik's pick, slightly worrying to me.
Yeah.
But I think it is going to come down to look at all the vertical play that we have on Cryptik's side. We have Buck and Sledge.
Yes, and that setup is actually could provide to be quite beneficial to the defenders.
Absolutely.
That is, if Cryptik will be able to clear the upstairs first and then push downstairs. Otherwise, this will be the bane of them for this round. And we do see Quantic switch over to Sledge. That could mean honestly, them being able to push in
exactly.
easily.
Honestly, what I'm seeing, I mean, Sledge is just a fantastic fragger, but what we're seeing is they know that they're going to go Tellers, and they're bringing out the Buck and the Sledge because they know that they need the maximum floor destroying potential in order to take over that top floor, destroy all the floor, and kill any anchors beneath. But what we're seeing, obviously, from Odin Miso is some huge, some mirror plays, and we've got two attackers up there
already making their way. Yes,
exactly. So having a look, they've barricaded all of these windows, which actually takes quite a bit of time, but they're doing it so that they're not exposed to the window that Yuzera is on currently.
What does also interest me is the fact that they only castled out the janitor's closet, but the what was it, CEO office? Not fully reinforced, meaning this could be quite a difficult hold for the defenders, but at the same time, a whole lot more of those angles. As Shin
on the
Bagel
back of the stairs from Skylar, Arena managed to get the kill and get out. Meanwhile, Shin Bagel takes down Shin. That is our infamous Ella Roma down, but looks like Yuzera is ready to jump straight in on the hard right. There's Mirror right there.
The pre-fire is just
get
missing.
One kill.
There
Doesn't
it
get
is.
the second one. He needs to whip out the shotgun and come around the corner for that one, but that is a good refrag, and now we have it in a 3v3 situation, and finally the top floor control is out. But Buck gets taken down, and that's all the floor destruction potential we have. Arena going large for his team at the moment. There are still some holes here.
Yuzera could catch one of the defenders off guard. I believe that could be Arena as well, or Onesie.
Taking a look at this, Ying does have all of the Ying charges. Those flashbangs have been exhausted, so we're not going to be seeing that utility used for the plant. All they've got is the smokes, the flashes, and the X-Kairos pellets. But with 45 seconds to go, I don't know if they're going to have the chance to actually make the most of all of those. It's probably too late to rotate all the way around to the south stairs and go for a push through Tellers.
We do see the Cryptik members use the drones to tag up the eINS players, and so far nothing that big. Ooh, the first kill by Suzu on Water Metal.
1v3 now.
That is Hibana down, making it a 1v3 actually. Yuzera tries to fend off the defenders, and Suzu going really aggressively. 10 seconds on the clock. It doesn't look really good for Yuzera.
There's no way he can kill 3 players and or plant in 7 seconds. And the first one he finds takes him down. Arena, that was at very least a 3K. Fantastic work from him on the castle. Pushing up in the strangest moments and knowing exactly when to push back.
He did seem, yes, very disciplined about his pushes and the frags. The moment he got the frag, he was bailing out of there and getting back to the objective.
And it's that discipline that I think is what's making the difference between some of the weaknesses and the strengths in these teams. Both of these teams have the same weakness, and it's the lack of discipline.
This what could have made Border a completely different game if they would have had the same discipline as they have right now.
Exactly. On Oregon, if they had...
on Bank.
Yeah, exactly. On Oregon, if they had this level of discipline, eINS could have surely won some of those numbers disadvantage rounds on the anchors. We are going to be seeing the tellers now come out from Cryptik, as we have seen so far, all defense wins, even upstairs. So are we just going to see defense win after defense win, going downstairs and then going to the ground floor and then going downstairs, and at some point someone's going to have to break that trend in order to make this win.
Exactly, and we did see, even during Oregon, for the first, about 6 rounds, it was just a very, very close game with 3-3, all the defense being won and the offense being somewhat of a issue for both teams.
Yeah. So it looks like we're actually seeing something fairly similar. Like, I'm actually amazed at how similar these teams are, honestly. In their play style, they play incredibly aggressive, both of them. Ooh, I like this. Odin is choosing to bring this Glaz, this from the parking, completely safe, or almost completely safe area. You can make holes with this Glaz's rifle, which has incredible destruction skills, and you can open up all over the top floor, and that's why the castle barricades from Shinbagel are going to be attempting to prevent that. But 11 shots from Glaz's rifle into those castle barricades, and it goes down, and the recent buff to the rifle's ammunition capacity means that they are going to have an advantage doing that. It looks like Onesie is going to be taking down one of those castle barricades from a very long way, sniping.
It nearly taps Yuzera as well through the wall. If only he knew how close he was, but that angle is absolutely nuts.
So this pressure from all the way back here has the potential to do a lot, but the thing is, are Cryptik going to be disciplined? Are they going to know not to pick? And as soon as they know that there are 1/2 players back there, they need to not expose themselves.
The bigger question is about the discipline is, after they get the first frag, would they push even farther, or would they be able to discipline themselves and stay put?
Yeah, so what I'm really seeing here is that we've got that Glaz from the other side, and then we're opening up holes from Shin on the opposite side. So this is a complete crossfire. They're opening up holes at either end. It's like a circular death tube. And all of the players inside are going to have to run away one way or another, and that's exactly what's happened. Look at that. They completely cleared the top floor, and hopefully they just drone it in time so that they don't waste any more time before heading straight in there. And that's exactly what they're doing. However, there's no buck and no sledge, and they can't destroy all of the floor.
That is exactly right, but at the same time, they seem to be wasting quite some utility as all of the X-Kairos are gone.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Quantic.
The angle on Quantic could have been quite beneficial for Shin, but he decides to fall back.
So these holes in the floor upstairs are actually ones that were made by the defenders in order to, help defend the objective from above. But now that above's been sacrificed, they will be used by eINS, but there's no additional destruction from eINS, so they can't, they've been up here for 30, 40 seconds, and they're still wasting time just shooting at mirrors. They're not sure where to push. And the thing is, they haven't gotten a pick yet. Yuzera is still roaming. We've got all these players roaming in. Fantastic long shot from Revik, and then Cryptik manages to get one. Quantic falls to Arena, but looks like Odin Miso. But the C4 misses, but Odin Miso takes him out through the smoke with that thermal scope. It's now all up to Shin. This collapse from eINS. Working wonders.
That push ended up very, very beneficial. I don't think Cryptik did expect this kind of just all over the from all the angles push. That was absolutely ridiculous and unpredictable for them.
Honestly, I'm actually quite surprised. What we basically overview of that round. We saw the attackers looking around for about a minute, trying to find people, opening some stuff. We finally saw them open up the holes upstairs, and then we saw all the defenders, go away, go downstairs. By that time, a minute 10 left on the clock, and then they did nothing for 40 seconds, and then they run in the last 30 seconds and killed everyone.
I'd say
that's the end of the story.
What you did point out initially, midway through the round, is that they kept on popping open the mirror windows. But that, to me, seems like as if they were
nerves.
making sure that, okay, they're not here, they're not here, they're not here. Okay, the rest of them are on the objective. Just push this.
So one thing that we just mentioned before is that this has been defender-sided so far, and who is going to break that trend and win an attack? Guess what we just saw? We saw eINS win their attack. Despite the odds, they've won their attack, and now they're 2 rounds up. And the thing is now, even if we go back into trading defender rounds, we get 1 here for eINS, and then it's match point. 1 here for Cryptik. Oh, well, it's 2-5, 2-4. 1 here for eINS, and that's the game.
Yeah.
eINS are looking very strong. Winning that attack round has put them in a serious position. They just need to lock down and keep doing what they're doing. Even if they lose their attack onto the basement, they know that they can win their attack onto the... Oh, they know they can win their defense at the basement, right?
Exactly. And it does seem that Izero already managed to make his way over.
Whoa, the wall bang!
The wall bang on Prototype will be securing the kill on the roaming Valkyrie.
Yeah, that was
though,
really good stuff.
Erwinner making his way already over to the stairs as well. He could catch Izero off guard, but no, Izero will be already on his way downstairs. And he could.
Right. So what we're seeing here, I mean, honestly, we're seeing Izero being the master of wall bangs. I'm pretty sure there are a couple wall bangs there in Oregon too. We've got to open up this hatch as Cryptik does, open up the server hatch. Interesting, we're seeing quite a lot of, you know, hard holding in server, and it's been working really well for them, but it looks like all the defenders have left server right now. They still have the numbers advantage. It's 5 for eINS looking to make this their round. Sorry, Cryptik looking to make this their round.
But so far, no emphasis on any of the downstairs controls. So far, the vault and the CCTV room and the servers are all in hands of eINS. As I say that, they already push in and secure. Well,
yeah, it
so
was
far
clear they just had to drone it, and now. The thing is about having 4 players from eINS just in this small area of the basement. Shin obviously can do a lot of work with this pulse sensor. He can call out exactly how many players are in server. He can, you know, he can throw his C4 once he knows that they're in the plant spot. The thing is, we've got the Echo drone also for disruption. We've got the smokes also for disruption. Problem is, we have Arena on that Jaeger. It's very difficult for him to get an angle where he's actually going to be able to make an impact because all the spots where you actually get a line of sight are exposed to hatches.
The thing as well is that Shin just got droned out, so they will be also expecting that C4 and could potentially attempt to bait it out. The Echo drone will be destroyed as well, so that is one of the disruptions gone.
I really like that Echo drone placement, but they obviously completely knew about it, and now Shin is completely blind now. This is really working for them.
But Suzu with Shin, that's the C4. That's the C4. But
3K, it's now a 2v3. Shinbagel managed to get 1. Quantic managed to get another. It's now a 2v2. These guys are going to be dropping soon. Now Shinbagel and Quantic. Quantic has made it into the site. Shinbagel has fallen in. And now, Shin falls, and it's all up to Odin Miso. Quantic and Shinbagel have almost no HP left. There is no one above. They just have to get the plant down and cover. And now the plant's in.
Oh, he does see his foot.
And gets the injure. It's now a 1v1 with Shin on almost no HP. This MP5 SD has an incredibly high fire rate, incredibly low damage. What a fantastic shot.
Shin manages to get that small pick and get the kill on.
Wow, so that's the second attack round we've seen.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I was calling it to be eINS. I mean, maybe I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I was calling it eINS was going to take this one, but here we have Cryptik winning not only any old, you know, attack round, but they won an attack round onto the primary bomb site that eINS were most confident with. That's really significant because now, you know, Cryptik is going to be going onto that primary bomb site, and we're not expecting eINS to be able to take this one. Even if eINS managed to get down and win the attack round onto the secondary bomb site, it's not all that likely that they can win it onto this basement one.
Now, based off what we've seen so far with the attack for eINS and Cryptik, what do you think how this defense for Cryptik could go? Well, do you reckon could this be a very aggressive push from eINS once again and them taking a early lead, or could this mean that Cryptik will be able to lock it down and be able to secure the round as well.
Honestly, I'm slightly concerned for eINS because Cryptik have some fantastic players and some fantastic roamers, more specifically. And remember last time they did this defense, they knew exactly when to fall back. So now having a look at the scoreboard, we got some really strong fraggers from Cryptik's side, both Ysera and Shinbega with 5. Fairly even across the board. I mean, it did get down to 1 kill there on the bottom, but I mean, it happens. It kind of comes down to just the roles that they play. Very similar looking on eINS side as well. Meanwhile, we do have the round beginning. We do have Quantic getting an aggressive roam inside open area. This is typically a place where Hibana will enter once they've cleared the roam in order to open up these hatches.
But Shin will be going for the droning up ahead from the very safe distance. eINS seem to be very thorough with the drones, but sometimes just it feels that not thorough enough.
The initiative, right? Oh,
yeah.
Not thorough enough. Yeah, well, what we had there is Ysera actually still inside the janitor's closet, and he still hasn't dropped. Just now drops all the way down. Quantic gets spotted out. Ysera gets spotted out too. Looks like we have all of Cryptik heading back downstairs. So this is the discipline that we were talking about.
Yep.
It worked for them last time. Will it work for them this time with 2 minutes on the clock?
That actually, yes, that could be a double-edged sword, to be honest, because last time I did see them play on Bank, they did tend to be quite aggressive. We are seeing
I like this mute play. So people predict that Bank is a Jackal map, and they place mute jammers, because as soon as you're within range of a mute jammer as a Jackal, your vision will start getting distorted, and you won't be able to put any scans until you are far enough away that it affects you not at all. If you get too close, of course, you get completely blinded. So it's a nice way to slow down the Jackal. Speaking of, the Jackal is actually kind of going to be a little bit of a slowdown now, because there are footprints everywhere upstairs, but none of them are still upstairs.
None of them are still upstairs, exactly. And that would actually get them to slow down on their push, double-checking literally every corner.
So it's been 45 seconds now since all of the Cryptik players have actually completely defaulted back to site, and eINS are only just finally starting to push on down, opening up all the hatches. They have 1 minute to start this plan. Still, come on, they know he's involved, but I mean, it's a side player.
Nah, yeah. And now the scan on Ella actually nearly screwed, you could say, pardon me. Nearly got Ysera because he was just about to go for the push onto the server stairs, and now that he's getting pinged, he will be forced to fall back.
He's locked down, he can't get too aggressive, but meanwhile Shin managed to get a pick. That's the first pick of the round. Shinbega goes down, that's the mute. One of the top fragger, the probably equal top fragger for Team Cryptik, so that's an important pick going down. I like this. 1Z pushing from Garage. This is exactly what they need. This two-sided pressure is why they were winning their Oregon attacks.
But then again, you do remember...
Odin Miso pushes all the way down and loses the gunfight to Ysera. That should not have happened. Oh my god,
double kill.
Quantic with a double onto Arena and Shin with a triple onto 1Z. It's now all up to Suzu, and Suzu falls, and Cryptik playing very strong.
I was just about to mention how... Do you remember how 1Z also tried to push on Oregon through the construction tunnel? That was not enough. They needed to emphasize a bit more on that Ash Rush because Jackal was just overwhelmed by that firefight and unfortunately lost it. And if Ash would have pushed at the same time with the drop, that would have been a completely different
honestly, I'm not really sure what Odin Miso was thinking dropping Red Hallway that early. If you've got someone pushing from Garage, you don't need someone there. Like, if you lose that fight, you don't get anything. If you win that fight, you're lucky.
Yes.
And you probably aren't going to win the next fight.
We are seeing a very interesting thing, how Cryptik did have a disadvantage of 2 points prior to it, and now they got back to a draw. So this could potentially mean a comeback?
I think we're seeing overtime.
You're thinking overtime. Okay, I'll take you up on that.
So eINS, basically at the start, we saw trading defense rounds. We finally saw eINS break that by winning their attack onto Archives Tellers. And then we saw Cryptik reply with an attack win onto the basement. And then, Team Cryptik won their basement defense, which was to be expected. So now eINS heading back down basement. The question is, can they fix their mistakes? Obviously, they're not comfortable enough. Despite winning Archives and Tellers, they still think that basement is stronger for them, and they're going to retry it. Cryptik have won it once. Can they win it again? Last time we had a 4-man on site from eINS with, I believe it was over a minute left, and they just didn't manage to have enough pressure. And some really good aggression from Cryptik was kind of what won it in the end.
Yeah. And now we are also seeing the pretty much standard at this point push by one of the Cryptik members to the upstairs into the admin office. Yeah, the CEO office.
Yeah, look at how thorough that droning is from Shinbagel. Even droning the back of the lobby in that small office there. It's very rare that people play over there, but if you don't drone there and there's someone, like even a Caviera to hide from the Jackal sitting back there, it's devastating to your entire team.
Yeah, that would be quite devastating. Now we are seeing Onesie holding the angle at the service stairs, and he will be spotted in just a
interesting place. Did he not get spotted?
I don't think he did get spotted.
He needs to not take out that drone. If he takes out that drone, he's giving away his position. Arena needs to be the one to take this drone. Oh, he didn't realize.
Onesie.
So he had a very strong position there, but he gave it up. One thing I'm just going to make as a general statement about Cryptik versus eINS. Cryptik are definitely superior on their roam hunt.
Okay.
They are so fast and consistent with it. They drone in and they are inside the building within, before we've gone down to 2 minutes. eINS, there's too much hesitation.
Yuzera could catch a Onesie just off guard, but he missed him just by a small bit, like a couple of steps more, and he would have been able to see him. Actually, now that we're viewing from this angle, that could have been a completely opposite run with Candela going out.
A little bit of an emo rin play here, proning in the barbed wire. And Quantic managed to take him down.
And Lunametal takes out Suzu. Arena going for the double kill. Downs, I believe, Revik, yes. That is a 3v3 situation just like that. He keeps on being very aggressive. Shin gets the Shinbagel.
Gets taken down while Arena is complete. Arena with the 4K.
Oh my goodness.
Let's take a look at that scoreboard now. Arena has brought himself right to the front of eINS, saying, I am a strong fragger. Hell, I can even get kills while I'm completely Ying flash, and the Ying is looking straight at me. So that was a fantastic effort. Let's have a look at the scoreboard to see just how these frags are coming out. We are now on to match point. eINS are potentially able to take this one home. They did win this attack last time. What do you think is going to happen this round? Are we going to see overtime?
Actually, now that we're seeing this kind of approach, I'd say there is quite a good chance to an overtime. Yeah. There is quite a good chance with now Cryptik going on their defense for the Tellers and Archives. And this could go very well for them.
Yeah, I definitely think this could go well for eINS. We've seen, it was eINS attacking this objective that got them their lead in the first place to 1-3. And it stopped the trading of defense rounds. But the thing is, Cryptik have proven that they can surprise us, and you can't count them out. And look at this incredibly hard hold upstairs. Last time, they defaulted out because of some serious pressure coming from both sides. Even a couple of bandit batteries upstairs would counter that and make it so the Hibana couldn't get the crossfire. Once again, we're seeing Odin Miso go up onto the parking garage, look straight through the windows, all the way into CEO. He can even open the castle barricades with 11 shots from his rifle, so he's really set himself up here.
Yeah, and the same play and the same lineup we did see from eINS just early on today that did score them quite a very confident win with... it
was a really decisive win, wasn't it?
A very decisive win, yes. With their push from all different sides, and that just collapsed the whole lineup of Cryptik very quickly. Yeah. So this, if they would be able to play it out just the same way and be able to get all of the Cryptik members back onto the side, this could be big.
Yeah, so honestly, what Cryptik did last time that I actually personally think is a good move is once they realized that the heavy push was coming in and they had the attackers had a crossfire onto upstairs, they all left upstairs and they didn't all go back to side. They kept their players like Ysera in positions of roaming in order for a late flank. But the thing is, eINS are just crazy, and sometimes they win.
Ooh.
A little bit of over-aggression coming out from Shinbagel, and he gets taken down by Arena. Arena are absolutely on fire right now. And just as I had mentioned before, the bandit batteries on CEO has completely countered that Hibana charge. So that is going to completely slow down the push into CEO office. Nonetheless, the numbers advantage is in favor of eINS at the moment. We're going to have to see whether with 1 minute 30 they can do, what they need to do. And something I'm going to say about here is, I was saying Cryptik are definitely... Ooh, 1Z managed to get a kill onto Revik. They're looking like they have the numbers advantage now. But, I mean, Cryptik, while they seem to be superior at the roam clear, at playing this in the early round on their attack, eINS and both the other Japanese team, Noarengo, managed to get incredibly good in the last moment. But Quantic managed to get a kill onto Shin. Shin pulling huge weight for his team, and him down is a significant blow, but a whole minute to go. There's plenty of time for eINS.
And with now we are seeing a 4v3 situation. It still doesn't look too well for Cryptik with the numbers disadvantage and the fact that they're already getting closer and closer with all the utilities starting being used into the teller's office. We are seeing Onesie just about to enter the office from the east side.
Still got barbed wire to get through, and there are probably people watching him. So Arena actually has been down. It's now a 3v3. It's unlikely he is going to get revived. No, Quantic takes that one. Lunar Metal is in a position. They're going for the plant on the other side, but no, Suzu is exposing himself, and with the diffuser runs in.
What are you doing, Suzu?
Prototype has to get this kill onto you, Lunar Metal, but no!
The mirror shotgun comes out.
Luna managed to get that one too, and now three less.
Odin, no! Defenders will be winning the C4 killing in Lunar Metal and Odin Miso as well.
What a way to go to overtime,
oh
right?
my goodness.
What a way to go to overtime. Lunar Metal taking one for the team. I think a C4 count for this LAN is... The suicide count for this LAN is currently 1 for Cryptik. Lunar Metal, hey, I'm sure he's saying, guys, it was worth it.
I got it.
I got this, guys.
I got this.
I'm gonna get a kill with the Vector. I'm gonna switch to the secondary shotgun, and I'm gonna do some work, and then I'm gonna bring out my C4. And you know, a 3K isn't enough for me. I'm gonna take down myself as well.
Yeah.
So we are seeing now eINS head onto the basement. This is overtime. When we have overtime, what we have is a best of 3. So it's first to 2 points. So whoever can get to 6 rounds first wins. Yeah. And what we're seeing, what happens is in order to decide who starts on which side, the game does an automatic coin flip. So we can see the coin flip has judged that eINS is on defense, Cryptik is on attack. We've seen some interesting attacks and defenses. eINS getting defense, do you think that's a benefit to them or to Cryptik?
I'd say actually on that would be benefit for Cryptik. We do have a look at the scoreboard, seeing how Odin Miso and Shin going very big for their teams. And we do see a very, well, pretty much the same setup that eINS did, but as far as I can recollect,
I'm
that
pretty
didn't
sure
work out.
I'm pretty sure that we've dropped a mirror. So we used to, I'm pretty sure eINS were bringing a mirror on this defense earlier, but they have dropped it. I like what they've got with the pulse. I mean, it's pretty typical now. The smoke is definitely something you need. They've got the double disruption combo in the smoke echo, and they also have C4, and the double information gathering from Pulse and Valkyrie is incredibly useful. And what they're doing with Arena here is what's been so successful. He got a 4K from this spot last time. Sitting behind servers, he can pull out his ADSs. He can even juggle them if he needs to, and that'll completely stop him from being flashed. Thing is,
as well as those ADSs being able to destroy the Candela charges straight away before they detonate.
Exactly.
So that they could prove quite useful.
Yeah. So if Ysera's Candelas are actually going to be hitting behind the server before they detonate, they will be caught.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, it looks like we have a fairly non-roaming game coming out from eINS, and I like that. Honestly, look at how much disruption they have. They have 2 C4 on the team that they can throw to deny the planet. They have 3 smoke grenades, and they have an Echo Drone. Hopefully the Echo Drone will last a little bit longer than it has in the past.
Yeah.
It's been being picked off early. And of course, on top of that, Arena's role in this is to cause as much havoc inside of the servers as they possibly can.
The droning on Shin already happened. That's the call out, and his hiding spot is gone, so he will need to fall back.
Shin missed out on an opportunity there to shoot up through the elevator. There's a little crack in the elevator, and he could have definitely taken down one of the attackers, but he did play for the safe thing, which I guess is probably a decent idea here. Interesting to see that we're actually seeing the attackers pressure from elevators, and I think that what we're seeing right now is Cryptik
This
adapting.
could be big. Shinbeg already dropping down with using his Ash charge, but he will be unfortunately blinded by his own teammate. Ysera, what are you doing? No. Oh no. But Quantic manages to get the kill on Onesie and will go for the pre-fire. Shin gets the kill on Revik, and Shin gets another kill, a triple kill on Shinbegel and Lunar Metal.
Arena gets lit up, and Arena goes down, and now it's a 2v3. 28 seconds to go. Cryptik decided, let's go for a vault push. No one ever does it. No one ever expects it, and we'll catch them off guard. And they did. And, next minute, we just had Shin get a triple kill.
Quantic finding the kill on Odin Miso, and Quantic securing the kill on Suzu, winning the first round of the overtime in for Cryptik.
So now we are going to see Cryptik go downstairs in theory for their defense.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. So once again, it looks like Cryptik have the read on eINS for that basement defense. And they're managing to win it. So we are going to have to see next up, it's going to be Cryptik going onto their defense, and eINS have been unsuccessful.
The problem is that push from Cryptik nearly cost them the game, with Shin going big with that triple kill. That was absolutely just ridiculous. And then the shutdown did happen from Quantic and Ysera, even after all the double team flash.
Yeah.
But I think this could potentially be the last round of this whole matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite unfortunate for eINS as well that they did get a disconnect in the last moments of that round. We did have Shin, unfortunately, disconnect from the game after getting his beautiful 3K. So, I mean, sometimes good deeds don't go unpunished, you know? So, I mean, that may have cost eINS a little bit there, but in the end, it did come down to a 3v1, and it's unlikely that the Smoke is able to come back from that.
Yeah, right.
Having now Cryptik go onto their basement defense, what are we expecting to see? Are we expecting to see them doing the exact same thing, you know, putting pressure in server, doing the exact same normal stuff, not bringing a mirror like they're usually doing?
I'd say, yeah, that could potentially happen. And I definitely say that they would start out with a whole lot of roamers upstairs once again.
Yeah.
And it would pretty much, once again, it will be just a game of just being able to quickly rotate and just in the right time and be able to hold the angles right.
Yeah, I do find it really interesting here that we're not actually having much of a roam game affecting the rounds in terms of getting frags. It's not the roamers getting frags, and it's not the roamers getting fragged. It's the roamers delaying enough time and getting back downstairs. And the thing is that Cryptik are really good at that, and the reason they're really good at that is because eINS aren't very fast with their attacks. They're not very efficient with their roam clears, and they take a lot of time. But the thing is, eINS, just like Norengo, the other Japanese team, it's like as soon as it hits 30 seconds left in the match, they go into super drive mode. And they manage to clutch this out despite the time pressure on attack.
They seem to be, from what I've seen, slightly inconsistent as well with those pushes. Because if you remember, after that rehost on Oregon, they went the first round and they just went in and just bulldozed Cryptik, just leaving not a single trace of them. And after that, they all of a sudden, they just, on several occasions, they have just gone down with the pace for their offense. So if the cards will be played out just right, then this could be another round for that we're going to see for this match.
Honestly, the thing is here, this is not only match point, but this is series point.
That is the series point, exactly.
Cryptik are one round up in a best-of-3 overtime.
Yep.
And they're one map up in a best-of-3 match.
And that as well.
And so this is match point. This is series point. If Cryptik win this basement defense, like this is the favored defensive side. And if they win it, they win the series, and eINS are not going to be making it to the semifinals. And I mean, people are going to say, like, if that does happen, right? People are going to say, oh yeah, tour victory for Cryptik. Cryptik were always a strong team. We knew this was going to happen, but that does not give any credit to the amount of fight that eINS has been putting up.
Yes.
Honestly, I've seen some of the things I've seen from eINS, the raw fragging potential and the ability to just look from two sides and do a push from multiple points is some of the best I've seen personally.
Yeah. And now we will be switching back to the game screen with we back after the rehost.
We do have all the players back into the lobby, and we are going back. And exactly like we were talking about, we do have Cryptik heading on basement. Everything looking pretty predictable here. Like, we have the Valkyrie coming out, we have the Mute, which is what we saw last time. Last time, I think we had Shinbagel was the only one who got picked off early. Oh, no, that was in the defense of Teller's Archives. So, you know, we're going to have to see. One thing I remember, though, is those Mutes going down and disrupting the Jackal.
What is interesting to me as well is the fact that Cryptik are juggling the same operator lineup between different players, because we did see Lunar Metal play Mute at some point during Oregon as well, and now it's Shinbagel switching over. So this does tell you quite a bit about the team, how flexible they can be with some of the roles.
Yeah, we've seen that a little bit from eINS as well, and it's something that's great to see. I mean, a lot of players, they favor particular operators. Maybe they're used to the recoil patterns, they're used to the role that it entails, and they really stick to that. I really like teams like, for example, the #1 team in the world currently. Whoa, wait. Lunar Metal gets a shotgun kill onto
Onesie, who
Onesie.
just decided to rush in through the tunnels.
eINS, that's not what you need right now.
That is definitely what you not need. That's one of the top, the entry fragger, and one of the top fraggers gone.
Honestly, I would say that Onesie is probably the top fragger for eINS. And like what I'm picturing right now is that in the team comms, Onesie was like, hey guys, they're not going to expect it if I just rush, right? And I'm gonna go and get a kill, and then I'm gonna have server while you guys are clearing upstairs. Problem is, there's someone there with a shotgun pointed at your face, and turns it into an early 4v5, and it means that Cryptik have the option now. They really do have the options now. No Ash, because they're not going to be ashing out any barbed wire. It means they're not going to be, you know, that raw fragging potential, and Prototype was one of the ones that we know has that fragging potential.
Yeah. And we are seeing so far a still somewhat of a confident push.
Yeah.
With upstairs and main main stairs taken up by eINS. But so far, nothing just too extreme or too action.
So half the round's gone down now, and eINS are still just making their way down. And they've got to open up all the hatches. You know, this is a routine. This map, it's a routine. Open up the hatches, you know, clear out server, which, by the way, Shinbagel's still sitting in there with that mute. Still sitting in there with that mute, and you don't have as much utility to deal with him now. I mean, assuming we had 3 flashbangs on Ash, maybe we have 3 flashbangs on Hibana, but it's potential we have a Claymore, and without those flashbangs, I mean, there's even a Jaeger on the defense. If there are stacked up Jaegers behind that server, you are not going to be taking him down. Yeah, there you go. There's an ADS there. Unless they Thatcher that and then follow it up with some stuns, they are going to have a lot of trouble pushing out Shinbagel.
Yes, and especially at that spot, that could be quite crucial for Cryptik.
Especially if Shinbagel's got the shotgun there, which I'm pretty sure that he does. So yeah, we don't have any flashbangs on Thermite, so that's not going to be helping. Honestly, if I was enemy sector outside, I have no idea what that is, and I honestly think, that Odin missed.
Odin missed on Yazera, who did go for the run out from the second floor and decided to do the push from the entrance.
Yeah, 22 seconds to go. Now 15 seconds to go. eINS managed to pick up another kill, but Lunametal trades onto Shin. It's now a 3v3. We've seen magic come out from eINS in the last few seconds of a round, but is this possible? Odin has to manage to get a few kills. He gets taken down, but the plant is going down. Arena managed to get one for himself. Suzu needs to be covered right now while the plant goes in. Plant is down. Arena managed to get another one, and Suzu gets the clutch.
Kill on Quantic. Holy!
And we are going to the 11th round in this best of 3 matchup.
11th round, and it just looked that it would end up with Cryptik winning this round, and just like that, the turnaround.
Honestly, I was about to call this just before when we had earlier in that round. I was about to say, you know what, with Onesie down, if this round is going to come back, it's going to be right on the back of our Arena, because our Arena has been showing amazing work. That 4K with Jaeger, and just like that Thatcher. Playing an aggressive Thatcher, covering your buddy. Cover your buddy while he's planting. Cover once the plant's down. If you've got your last 2 players are inside the bomb site, literally 2 meters away from each other. They're not in necessarily a very well set up position, and yet they made it. It's those frags coming out, and it's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
We are going to be seeing eINS once again forcing out this basement. I'm really not sure about this.
Likewise, actually, we do see that Aruna and Shin has been going really big with 13 and 11, and Quantic with Yuzera being the top fraggers of Cryptik, with Quantic going 12 to 6.
12 to 6. Our Arena really showing the strength right now. I'm very impressed by our Arena in particular, showing out some really particularly strong rounds. It's coming out when it comes down to it, when Prototype falls, and it's all up to our Arena does the job. And that's what I'm really impressed by. But the thing is, eINS here have chosen to go basement instead of going to the Archives and Tellers. And they won an Archives Tellers defense. They won it well.
That does seem like a really odd pick for,
and now,
for
how
defense.
Many times? 2 or 3 times eINS have lost this basement defense now. And yet they're going to it again. I'm concerned for them in this round.
You are concerned. I would be concerned as well. And with... so far, nothing just yet. No runouts, no spawn peaks have happened just yet.
I think that Onesie did kind of learn a little bit from his aggression last round and is going to be playing a little bit safer this time.
But we are seeing the fact that eINS decide to fully hunker down on the objective. They don't go for any of the roamers. they don't go for any of extra space to move around and just decide to stay around the objective. So do you reckon this could help them, or this could be the bane of them?
Well, honestly, I earlier in the round, once again the Echo Drone gets taken down early. Odin, you need to play more passively. I'm pretty sure that's every single round it has been taken out early. Honestly, eINS have been doing this now. I mean, earlier on I would have said that hunkering down is the right way to go, especially since Arena has proved that inside of servers, Arena can do some serious work. You have 2 C4s to deny the plant, you have the smokes and the Echo Drone, which of course is no longer there. Oh, Quantic! The head of Quantic falls off as Onesie managed to get a really nice shot picking up to the hatch. That is going to make a big distance. Oh, Lunamatic gets taken down at Arena, absolutely.
Arena
with the double.
Yuzera, 2v5, it doesn't look good.
And it gets traded down by Revik, but Arena really pulling their weight right now inside of server. 4v2, there's a whole minute to go. 4v2. These 2 remaining attackers are going to have to shape up the defense if they want to win this round and this whole map.
And the two, probably the 2 top players of Cryptik, Revik and Shinbagel left. Yeah. I'm really curious if they will be able to turn the tide. And
pun intended.
Pun unintended. 45 seconds on the clock. So far, just the utility being used, and the secondary shotgun coming into use with that brand spanking new buff. The drop by Shinbagel will be happening out as well.
I think if this round comes in favor of Cryptik, it's going to be on the back of Shinbagel covering with some amazing shots. But I don't know if he has it in him. We do have Suzu pulling out some serious weight, and there you go. Suzu comes and puts down those smokes. If he's got 2 left, then he can deny the entire time here. And eINS have learned they are not picking. But Revik goes all the way in. He's going aggressive, but he gets taken down for the mirror. Shinbagel manages to get the first kill. And now it's all Shinbagel to find 3. 7 seconds. One's above the hatch. He's not going to find that. He has to get the plant. There is no way. And he has 3 people looking straight at him. And eINS.
That will be the drop. eINS securing the kill.
eINS, absolutely fantastic. We have the Japanese team saying, no, Cryptik, you are not taking us out of the game yet. We are going to go to the 3rd map. We are going there.
It was very, very close. There were a couple of situations where it looked like eINS had maybe dropped the ball, given away an opportunity that perhaps they should have been able to secure a little bit more easily. In the end, they get there, but I think it was a little bit tougher than it needed to be.
I definitely agree with that. As much as I've been like, I'm trying to hide my bias, but as much I love to see matches go to the 3rd map, and that's why I thought that eINS really had this one, and I wanted to see that secretly, but then they dropped the ball, like you said, and I was not expecting them to actually pull it off. But in the last minute there, particularly that defense, we were having a little bit of a roast on them, saying, if it doesn't work 2 or 3 times, then probably not going to work again. But it did.
They got there.
Yeah,
and they got there. It was very, very close.
Practice
6-5 is
perfect.
the score. But it gets them through to a map 3. They're still in the competition. And now coming off this high, they're in a good spot to push it through to map 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will be heading to the 3rd map next up, which is going to be really where it all comes down to. And, I mean, we've had both of these teams win on their own map picks, and it's been, actually, sorry, they won on the opposite team's
They
map
won on
picks.
They won on their opposite map picks, but in reality, when we talked about this at the start, we felt, I felt that eINS had picked a map that their opponents liked to try and get it out first. So, in reality, they won the map maybe that was better for them in the end.
I guess
even though it wasn't their pick, right?
Yeah.
That would be true, yeah.
The funny thing is, I actually thought that eINS looked like they weren't prepared on bank. Honestly, I thought Cryptik had bank down pat, and I thought that they were going to take it just because of that. I mean, yeah, they had some problems, particularly with their first Teller's defense, but the problem was that they nailed their downstairs defense, and they won it almost every time. And they had excellent quick attacks because they're so strong at winning their own games.
We'll see a few replays coming up here, and
there were some amazing shots. That double kill.
That run out by Suzu was absolutely ridiculous, as that did look very odd for him to run out, but that was just, it worked magic.
Yep, and this was not the only time in that match that Shinbagel did manage to get that shotgun kill onto 1Z. Shin from eINS on this one.
As well as that push from several sides into the tellers, that's where the lineup of Cryptik collapsed. That was just absolutely ridiculous, and the C4 Like, if that would have connected, that would have been one of the pushes cut out. That would have been a completely different thing. And that wallbang.
Oh, wallbang. Yes, there. Once
Yes,
again.
It's such an interesting game because so much about this is just information.
Yeah.
Knowing where your opponents are, because you can do so much more with the map. So it's not just you got to be good at shooting, right? But there's other aspects. And the other interesting thing that sitting down there in the audience, and I was talking to Flea about this earlier, he said he was down the front, and the guys from Cryptik were very loud, very vocal, right? Talking it up. Whilst the guys from eINS were a little bit quieter. They had less comms, but they still seemed to know what was going on. They didn't have to say as much to get the same information across.
It's interesting the way that different teams have different dynamics. Some teams are very vocal, like you said, and some teams just have this telepathic communication. They know each other, and they don't need to say a lot of things.
There was so many great frags, by the way, from Arena in here. There was, I think I'm not sure whether he actually got 4 kills or whether Shin picked up one when he was flashed. I'm not sure if we'll get a replay of that. But
I'm pretty sure that Shin got one and denied the ace for Arena.
Denied the ace, yeah. Makes it hard. But that was such a close game. And as you said, you like seeing it go to all the way. And I enjoy seeing it too, because I don't want to see any of these teams get knocked out in round 1 without picking up a map, without bringing the fight. And so far, that's what we've seen. Everyone's brought the fight. Everyone has proved that they deserve to be here, and that any number of these teams could find themselves in a semi-final tomorrow because they're playing just that well.
Honestly, I'm absolutely incredibly impressed by every team that we've seen playing so far today. We've seen both of the series go to the 3rd map, and we saw an amazing comeback from Norengo onto Mindfreak on Bank, and now we saw what was a really, really hit and miss, tied neck and neck from eINS, and they managed to finally pull it through and managed to make it to the 3rd map.
What I'm actually curious on how this is going to go is with Cafe. The whole map is as expensive as I'd say like Bank, so this could be played out very closely once again with all those narrow hallways and just so many spots that you could hide. A whole lot of choke points, and it will be pretty much all down to the fact how eINS or Cryptik will be able to handle these choke points and how they will be able to hold their angles. And it's also a rich map for roamers. So I'd say for Cryptik, this will be just their favorite playground, to be honest.
What have we learned about Cryptik across the last hour? Obviously, we talked about how they were one of these teams that, when I asked everyone to pick a favorite, they said Mindfreak, they said Corvidae, they said Cryptik. Have we learned anything about them in the last hour? Are they playing any differently?
They do seem somewhat hesitant the moment they realize that, they have more fortifications here than we realized. Like, the moment that thought comes through, they just slow down hard. So all that aggression just is vanished. And as for eINS, they seem to be adapting a whole lot, because as me and Dev noted that for their last defense on CCTV and lockers, they lost their previous rounds, but this time they managed to actually nail it down. They managed to get the shots connected, and that scored them the win.
Well, both of these teams should be warmed up. And guys and girls, we have one game left in this best of 3, our second quarterfinal of the day. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we get back, we'll be right into the action. Welcome back, guys and girls. It's day number 1 of our APAC finals for the Rainbow Six Pro League. We have 8 teams. We've had 1 quarterfinal. We are 2/3 of our way through a real cracker of a quarterfinal number 2. eINS up against Cryptik. eINS coming from Japan. Cryptik, the favourites from Southeast Asia. And they've taken it to the final game in a best of 3 and doing so in a very close fashion.
Yes, it was extremely close, and pretty much all the overtime rounds were very close, with both Cryptik executing their pushes and just winning that by that small margin, as well as eINS just going for those pushes. But that last round pretty much showed us how this could be all played out, because eINS seem to stick to their plans that they have all the strats for, no matter how many times they lost it, and they tried to like recorrect it and to keep it going, and that's what we've seen with the final overtime round. That was just mind-blowing.
It was actually insane, because it could have gone any way, and we thought it was going to go one way, then it came back the other, and it gave us the game 3 that we really want. Let's talk about this map. Obviously, we said that we felt both of these teams have won a map that they probably felt comfortable on one way or the other. What about map 3?
Map 3 is... It will be definitely interesting. It is, in my opinion, quite a Roma heavy, and this could provide for both teams actually quite some interesting opportunities with the flanks and with the way they're going to be approaching.
Do you have a favorite for winning?
I'd say this could be actually eINS's
Really?
way. Yeah.
Are we getting onto the Sandman eINS bandwagon over here? Dev, do you feel the same?
Yeah, actually, what I'm really hoping to see is some cheeky skylight jumps from eINS.
Yes.
Some of this last minute but really aggressive pushing, and some of this counter pushing from multiple angles, because that's what I think eINS are really showing that they can do fantastically.
Well, guys and girls, it is map number 3 in this best of 3 of our single elimination bracket. eINS up against Cryptik. The winner progresses through to tomorrow's semi-final. The loser goes home. Gentlemen, let's get into it.
First of all, I'd like to straight away point out that instead of Ella, Legion is coming out. Legion, with all of his utility, could be quite useful to stop those rushes.
Absolutely. I think this is the first time we have seen Legion in this best of 3 between these two teams. We did see it earlier from Mindfreak, which honestly I would expect a team like Mindfreak to bring out something like Legion, but look at that, Legion from eINS. And, you know, it's Odin who has been the mirror main recently, so having a look here, fairly standard from the attackers. They are going to be attacking at the top floor, heading up and opening up the red hatch. This is kind of where you establish your beachhead and where you move on through.
Yeah, and to talk about a bit more about those Legion traps, they would provide a very nasty pause for the attackers, because if you decide to hold off your push, that aggressive push till the last 30 seconds, this could really slow you down and pretty much just play a really bad joke on the whole team, and the whole push that could just take down the whole pace. We do see a pretty much standard lineup from Cryptik, with the still picking Ying.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Heavy fragging rolls coming out from Cryptik, which is exactly what I would expect to see from both of these teams. Wow.
Whoa.
Onesie managed to get taken down inside of Piano, playing that. I think he was there to actually bandit trick that wall. But even that deployable shield did not save him. So a good kill so far from Ysera. Ysera is going to be heading in with this this drone, and this usually would be to open up any mirror windows, but if he managed to spot them, he could take out any Legion traps, any bandit batteries, and any other utilities, for example, ADSs from Jaeger, and this is going to be quite significant.
Now, we are seeing already the drop-downs happen from, at the very least, 4 members of Cryptik, and Shinbagel's already in the cigar lounge, making his way over. The rest of... Oh, Revik getting the first kill of the matchup, of the map on Shin. That is, not actually, not the first one. Onesie has been downed as well. 3v5 situation. And so far it seems that eINS are just getting a hang of this matchup and how Cryptik are reacting to it. Shinbagel pushed in already from the other side, but will be traded by Odin Miso with that headshot.
Honestly, I do think that eINS here are looking pretty weak. I mean, 4v2 is not a good position from them. That's exactly what I would expect. A Skylight drop using the Yings and the Smokes. Quantic actually going for the plant right there. Suzuki gets cleaned up, and a nice trade from Odin, and Ysera finishes up that match.
Yeah, that was actually pretty clean from Cryptik, as they were able to get those kills nailed down. Shinbagel managed to push in and flank around and get the more kills, and got traded out, unfortunately, by Odin. But
I mean, that he done his job, really.
He done his job, yeah.
He poked a hole in that defense, and I mean, so did the Twitch from taking out the Bandit who was playing inside the counter. Basically, they poked holes in this defense until it was just, you know, this completely dismembered thing, and at that point, it was easy to pick apart.
What I do notice so far in the defense of eINS for Cafe, and pretty much for even the previous several maps, that the moment you take out those key members,
the impact players,
that's it. The whole hierarchy is falling apart, and all of the players seem to be either confused or just unable to make those quick, swift decisions on where to go, what to do, and who to shoot.
My first 2-second theory for what we're going to see here is Cryptik looking very strong on this map. Not only did they have a very, very clean first round on their attack, but they have something that eINS did not focus on, and that is C4. It looks like they're going for a lot of vertical play. They have the Pulse, they have the Valkyrie. They can sit those people down in train, down in mining. There is so many opportunities to C4 from below, even library. Basically, the entire top floor, with the exception of a very small area inside of Cigar Lounge, is destructible.
Yeah.
And you can C4 that.
And that could be a very crucial point for the defense. But so far, all that we've seen is Ysera, who's playing Pulse, will be roaming downstairs, just waiting for that exact moment to C4 from below. Odin making his way over to the window of the Cigar Lounge and trying to... Ooh! The headshot on Shinbagel will be the one to go, and that's one of the one of the more aggressive players for Cryptik. Gone.
Shinbagel, a very well-known player and a very aggressive player, and definitely an impact player. We do have now 4 remaining members of Cryptik. They are looking a little bit in hot water at the moment. I just want to point out the fact that we do have on eINS Ying. I don't think we've definitely seen a lot more Ying coming out from Cryptik than we have from eINS, but they have brought it out this time, and I think that this is meta for Cafe. Chucking your Ying on... Yeah, chucking your Ying on the top. Ooh, Ysera does manage to get a pick there onto Shin. That is the Jackal down. Interesting to see a Jackal on Cafe.
Yeah. It does also... Well, he will be very useful as he is on Bank, with this map being quite expansive.
Yeah.
And taking him out early on in the game would be very beneficial. But
the smokes have come down, and ooh, the Ying flashes and smoke. Arena managed to get one onto Ysera. But Odin is actually inside. Oh, Suzu gets taken down. Odin flashes Lunar Metal, but Lunar Metal is ready to fight back. Odin managed to get Revik, and then Lunar Metal falls. Finally, Odin pulling a huge weight for his team, and now it's all up to Quantic.
Now, Quantic left all 1v2 with Odin and Arena being the really strong players. Now the diffuser will be coming down. He will need to clutch this up. He will need to nail those shots. Next up, first up will be Odin Miso, and with this, the pixel peaks behind the bomb will be coming down to just the ammo round, but unfortunately for Quantic, he won't be able to get away from Odin, from Odin's bullets and Odin's wrath.
How many frags now did we count there for Odin? Because I definitely saw at least 3 or 4. That could have even been an ace. That was an incredibly strong effort. It wasn't an ace. We saw one of the L85 get a kill there. So unfortunately, Odin misses out on that one. But nonetheless, an incredibly strong round. I think that Ying is definitely a meta pick for Cafe. Just the way that now in the Blood Orchid update, not only have we introduced Ying as an operator, but the Cafe Skylight is now actually vaultable, so you could drop down there much faster and much easier without taking damage. And yeah, so we do have there Odin on 6 kills at the moment. That's across 2 rounds, so that would have been 4 in that one and 2 in the previous one. doing really well for his team so far.
Very well. And Yuzero with Quantic with 3 kills so far together still seem to be a bit underperforming. And so far, with the previous 2 maps, we've been mostly seeing just a game of defense. Now it's going to be a game of offense, so...
Could be. I mean, despite being an offense win, we do have eINS heading down onto the secondary bomb site. So this is something that we didn't see at all during the previous map when eINS were losing the basement on bank and they kept sticking to it, and it made them lose several rounds. They eventually got to it in the overtime round. But, I mean, in this map, they've decided, okay, let's switch it out earlier. We got completely dominated on the top floor. Let's move down into dining and see how we go there.
Alrighty. And we will be seeing so far just a pretty standard push. So Cryptik will be going for the lockdown of the second floor to prevent any roamers or potentially even integrate more of that vertical play. Now that Revik is on Sledge, this could prove to be useful, as well as popping open those hatches and the flooring above the trains. That could provide some very good spots for the attackers, as well as that could be a double-edged sword for the defenders too, being able to catch attackers off guard. Suzu could have gotten a very nice flank onto Shinbagel, but he will be spooked by that drone and will be forced to push back. Yeah, so this is a very vertical map cafe here, and so we do typically see on the middle floor attacks, we see the top floor being a huge contention. Same as Border, really. All of these vertical maps, you still need to take the very top floor and push on downwards. And with a Sledge, like you were saying, you can open up holes, kill anyone within train. Speaking of vertical play, so I think that was Suzu, managed to get lit up to half, but managed to get the injure there. That's significant. Even if he doesn't secure that kill, that is quite significant. Yeah, and the fact that Quantic got down, still not even picked up, as they are expecting some aggression with Arrow and attempting to go for that push at Lunar Metal, tagging him out pretty heavily, but Revik will be there to save him. But now we will be seeing a couple more defenders, one of them hanging around the freezer area and still not noticed. Yeah, so that could be big. Yeah, we still have two defenders on the top floor, and they're immediately traded there. Oh, Shin with the double, but it gets traded back by Quantic. It's now a 3-on-2. Prototype 1Z does head back to objective. It's just him and his buddy Odin to defend this against the 3 remaining Cryptik players for another 45 seconds. But now we do also see that Quantic got tagged up pretty heavily, even after him being picked up. So this could be quite problematic for them, but not at this stage just yet. Odin fallen back to Pillar Dining Room. Shinbagel gets the kill on 1Z, so that's the last man standing, being Mira, just outside of the objective. So they have a full-on access to B side, which would provide them with that needed plant. 15 seconds on the clock. Odin Missile will be going for the flank around and will be pushing through Reading Room. And this could be big. Shinbagel still waiting for the push and will be holding that angle. The C4 will be coming out, potentially. Detonate! Yes! And the... Oh my goodness! What did we just witness? Shinbagel managed to secure the kill at the last second, literally, with the C4 going out and preventing that plant. And if Odin didn't push into the objective, that would have been the win for the defenders. I'm sure that Odin was just as surprised as he could be that he actually got a kill from that C4. So he went for the big flank through Reading. Shinbagel was watching the angle but got off just at the wrong time. He crossed, he gets the C4 kill, and he doesn't know, but he's just put down the diffuser. He thinks it's 1 second to go and he has to push, and he pushes and falls into the bullets of Shin, and that was really unfortunate for him. If he had the knowledge, he could have clutched that out. That was indeed very unfortunate with how the timing worked the worst way possible for Odin. So in contrast to what we saw from eINS losing their top floor defense and then heading on to the middle floor, we have Cryptik looking to force out this top floor, even though they lost the first one. Looks like fairly similar things coming out. I mean, a lot of teams tend to have 2 strats for the same bomb site and multiple setups so that you remain unpredictable, you know, the second time and the third time, so that if one thing doesn't work, you try something different. But it looks like Cryptik are doing something very similar. Once again, we have the double information gathering with C4 on the Valkyrie and Pulse, and we have the castle. Now, we also did see Lunar Metal going for a run out on the east side of Cafe to go for that outside camera. So that could prove to be quite useful if Cryptik will be able to play their cards just right.
Yeah, interesting in the international scenes in NA and EU. Often we see an RQ being picked from the attackers because Valkyrie is so strong on this objective, on this entire map, really, because you can just throw the cameras out into the open, and there are so many places where you can put them that give you so much visibility onto everywhere that the attackers could possibly attack.
Yeah, and we are seeing already Odin putting some pressure onto the Cigar Lounge, but Shinbagel will be able to bail out of there very quickly. Other than that, there's not that much happening just yet. They all made over to the rooftop with Odin just continuously applying more and more pressure. The hatch will be popped open, as well as nothing. Shin actually making his way over, I believe.
Having a look here, we do
downstairs.
have, speaking of those Valkyrie cameras, we do have Luna Metal with a Valkyrie camera on the rooftop, so they can see exactly
what's about to happen.
Exactly. They can see a little bit into the future almost. They can see exactly how well set up these attackers are to jump the skyline.
Now we also see we just got a glimpse of Ysera actually going for the counter flank as Shin is on the second floor. Ysera is in the kitchen, and if only he knew, he could potentially catch Shin off guard with the C4 from below, but he will be just proceeding very slowly. Shin will be reuniting and, well, attempting to reunite with his teammates on the rooftops after a not that successful attempt to flank around.
Honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not seeing this Jackal used to hunt the roamers using the footsteps, because the roamers are there. In fact, using this this pulse and this Valkyrie, they could completely deny the plant from below, and yet the Jackal's not using his utility.
Yeah, and we do see Odin Miso finally get the kill on Revik. That is mirrored down. Arrow and going for the kill, pardon me, on Shinbagel. And ooh, Ysera taking out Arrowena, but Odin Miso will be trading out Quantic, making it a 2v4 situation. The C4, the double C4 from Ysera, and another kill on Shin. He will be seeing Suzu as well for the pre-fires. He can't get the fourth, but he will be forcing Suzu to fall back to the freezer.
That was exactly what we were talking about. This vertical play from the C4, this double information gathering, it's exactly what's winning this round. Ysera gets the triple. Suzu finds one. Can he find the second? He's going for the plant. He's going to stick it. There's going to be about 3 seconds. And Ysera finds it.
Ysera does able to clutch this up with a very swift 4K, especially the first 3 kills were absolutely ridiculous, as the fact that he caught 2 people with that C4 from below.
Demonstrating that Pulse on Cafe, vertical map, top floor objective, Pulse is exactly what you need. And coupling with that Valkyrie, I mean, not only could he use his scanner, but he could get off his scanner, and all of his teammates who had already fallen could use that Valkyrie camera that was inside of the top floor objective and just ping that Hibana, and he was going for the floor bang there, and he almost got that one. It was fantastic.
I believe he did end up tagging him up ever so slightly to force him out, since they already knew that it was Pulse, so that could have been some damage from the start already.
Yeah, honestly, a valiant effort from Suzu, though, despite that. Playing that Hibana, managing to even find the Valkyrie was impressive. In a 1v2 with that amount of time, that amount of information on the defender's side, to be able to bring it to that situation, very close. Props. Looks like we are seeing eINS head back to the second floor defense. So, I mean, yeah, second floor defense, and once again holding the top floor as a part of it. Last time they were fairly successful. They managed to keep trading and trading. In the end, they did fall down to I think it was a 2v3 once they finally left the top floor control. So, I mean, they did lose the numbers game, but in the end, it was very close.
Yeah. And now we're seeing a very interesting picture, as it happened with the bank. Now Cryptik are leading with the 2 rounds ahead. And the question right now is, will they be able to emphasize on that? Ysera goes for the opening of the mirror window, as well as taking out the ADS, and that small room is no more useful for eINS.
So that mirror inside of the inside of the bathroom there rather, is incredibly useful for holding piano. eINS is actually choosing to stay up here despite losing his ADS, despite losing his mirror. He's still going to try and keep that pressure because he knows as soon as Cryptik take over piano control, they're going to be able to flush out anyone who's playing in or around the bomb sites.
Exactly.
So,
and now we are seeing the grouping so far by the Skylight, and I believe already, yes, Quantic already dropped in and just about to be ready to push in into the cigar lounge from Cigar Shop. His drone does get spotted, and Yuzero will be applying some pressure from the south window.
It looks like there is someone, one of the defenders, I believe that is Arena, playing in the southeast corner of Piano Room. Managed to get one kill. This is such a strong position for a defender to hold. You have so much going for you, and that angle just gives you a pixel to look on here. And Luna Metal is going to be using the Zinc Charge, but the wall bang comes out.
We do see, though, the bit of a potato throw from Luna Metal as he tries to flush out the defenders. We do see a full rotation from defenders downstairs, and now they're back to the objectives, but at the cost of the whole top floor fully open.
It's a trade, a 1-for-1 trade with wasting 2 minutes in the meantime. That's a very good trade for a defender.
That is indeed.
Now they've got 4v4 with only having to delay 50 seconds. I believe they can do this. And look, it's the sledge that they've taken down, so no opening up the piano floor for Cryptik.
Exactly, and now we do see the smoke grenade starting to come out. Onesie could find...
That's a teammate.
Yeah, never mind. Yep, that got me hyped up on the very wrong note. We will be seeing, though, Yuzero making his way over to the white stairs, over closer to the B side, and this could play out very interestingly. The Ela charge does go off, and it's more right now was more of a question of discipline. Would they be able to push out?
20 seconds to go. 2 players on bomb site. 2 players still preparing for a flank. eINS are in a position. Oh, Prototype manages to get the first kill. Shin Bagel manages to get a trade onto Suzu. 2 seconds to go, and they don't have the diffuser down, and the defenders win it. Really nice flank coming out there at the end.
That was a very indeed nice flank, as just Shin was able to secure that, to just delay that plant, as well as not letting the attackers pick up back that diffuser.
Yeah.
Making it a win for them, yeah.
Absolutely. To me, what gave eINS that round is the fact that once it got to a 4v4, they knew that all the 4 are going to, be top floor, slowly make their way to the main floor, try and push onto site. If they had stacked 4 players on site, then it would have just been a question of brute forcing, and they didn't want to risk that. If they had stuck no players on site, then the attackers would have made it onto site, and it would have been a retake for the defenders, which is risky. So they split up 2 and 2. 2 players on site to delay enough time that maybe they could get a pick onto one of the attackers. 2 players ready for a flank on both the opposite corners of the map, red stairs and white stairs, completely catch the attackers off guard in a crossfire. And honestly, that really impressive play from eINS, I thought.
Yeah, that was indeed a very clever play, as they were able to read Cryptik fairly well for their defense. But once again, this will be now a defense from Cryptik for the train room, and they will be making quite some emphasis once again on the top floor. Not that much of reinforcements for the main plants.
Yeah, I do quite like what we saw. I believe that was Revik making up some holes in the top floor, in the floor of planet. We'll call them murder holes, and making a little rotate into Freezer just there. Obviously, they're going to be having a heavy presence upstairs, using a lot of reinforcers and a lot of holes to gather a way to influence the downstairs if the attackers decide to try and ignore upstairs.
Now, do you feel that this setup on the upstairs, instead of just fully setting up the main plan, do you reckon that could drain all of the resources, all of the utilities of the attackers, or will eINS be able to iron it out and just get the whole top floor easily and be able to secure the final push right onto the objective with the remaining utilities?
From what I've learned from this match so far, it's that when it comes to the fireplace dining defense, the defenders are winning when they stay upstairs just long enough to delay time, maybe get a pick, and then fall back. And that's exactly what we saw from eINS last round, and I think that if Cryptik do just that, they're going to take this one. And I think if Cryptik spend too long upstairs and lose their players, even if they lose it to even numbers, I don't think that they're going to be as successful.
All right. And would you prioritize going for the frags compared to just the timely rotation? Do you reckon this could be what could be the way to go for them?
I definitely think that going for the rotation would be better off. But meanwhile, Ysera, oh, that's a play. That's a play if I've ever seen one. So that's what those holes were above. Some quick frags coming out from Cryptik. Absolutely dominating this one. Lunar Metal gets one now. It's all up to Suzu in a 1v5. This is an incredibly dominating round from Cryptik. One eINS player left to find 5.
And just like that, it's a 1v5 situation, yes. And like we talked about it before, the moment eINS's lineup is broken, eINS's chain of fraggers is broken, that's it, they just collapse, leaving only one player left.
So leaving this player left, I mean, Suzu, great player from what I've seen, but I mean, not one of the impact fraggers from the team. What's got to be going through Suzu's brain right now saying, okay, I've got 40 seconds to go, there are 5 players to find, what do I do?
This could potentially mean, ooh, he did want to go for the very sneaky push, but Shinbagel was already on the case.
Speaking of sneaky, you got out-sneaked. Shinbagel on that very cheeky angle managed to get the kill.
That was a very clean round from Cryptik. So
absolutely a flawless round.
That does take us to 4-2, so only one more round left for Cryptik to win, to be able to advance, and still a whole lot of effort to come out from eINS.
Match point. Series point.
And a series point, exactly.
Yeah.
Once again.
Once again we are on series point. I mean, Cryptik, I believe Cryptik gave us some series points last map. I actually believe it was eINS gave us some match points. But this time it is all on eINS to carry it. They've got to win 2 rounds in a row, and then they've got to take it to overtime. eINS are returning to their top 4 defense. They haven't won this yet. This is where they got completely dominated in the very first round of this map.
I mean, we did say about the same thing for the bank for the last overtime round, and look how it turned out. The eINS were able to come out of this the best way possible. So this, actually, I don't think we'll be able to properly predict how this could go with eINS now going for the full-on setups, and this time potentially just attempt to stay more put or be able to rotate just into a different position and not let the entry fraggers to be able to push as far as Shinbagel did at the start of the match.
In this, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this best of 3 matchup, we've seen a lot of different things, and we've seen a lot of comebacks, and we've seen a lot of, you know, push and pull. We've seen a lot of tug, and this is all coming down to it. eINS have to step it up right now. They can't delay this any longer. They've been fighting for their lives in this entire best of 3 matchup. I feel like eINS has been the one running with the ball, and Cryptik has been the one ahead.
Fair enough. It does, though, seem that eINS were not exactly fully prepped for Cafe. They do seem to miss out some of the points. They do seem to miss out couple of rotations, couple of just timings at this point.
That said, what we do have this time is a little bit of a change up from operators. eINS bringing up the Pulse, which last time Cryptik played it managed to get a 4K. So honestly, this is what I'm seeing from eINS is a willingness and an ability to adapt. So when they were playing on Fireplace, they made an adaptation, and even though they'd lost it earlier, they fixed it up and they won the round. Is that what eINS are able to do now?
Yeah, and now we did just see, ooh, the push by Quantic that will be shut down by Arena, and that is Hibana down.
Hibana down, no more hard breaching. Not that these teams have really been utilizing that a lot. Honestly, these teams have been playing very frag heavy, very aggressive, and it's the other utility that's been much more useful than hard breaching. But
Revik gets another, well, not another. He gets a trade-off on 1Z. So now they evened it out to 4v4 situation. Shinbagel already dropped in as well and just about to be ready with Ysera droning up ahead, and will be getting rid of the small utilities that eINS has placed.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ysera using this Twitch drone to get rid of all the ADSs is really important for their strategy, because they're using these Candelas and these smoke grenades in order to actually successfully get down there.
Now the push will be happening with now Shinbagel and Ysera already making their way over. They don't know that there is a roamer in the bathrooms, and I believe that would be Arwin actually waiting for just the right moment to push. Lunar Metal still taking point at the skylight, and the P-Fires does just not connect. 25 seconds on the clock. This could be big. Suzu trying to prevent the plant with the smoke grenades, and that actually does come in handy. They need to actually sort it out as fast as possible. The smoke grenades will be coming out from Lunametal and the Candelas. The C4 from Shin, the infamous one. Arrowina securing the kill on Ysera, Revik getting the kill on Shin, and Lunametal securing the headshot on Odin Miso. 1 second.
It's all on Revik now, and there you go. eINS managed to bring it back for themselves. Fantastic round. Look at how many trades we saw there, but in the end, eINS were definitely better set up than that. I mean, there were two attackers trying to push through that bottleneck of Cigar, and we had a smoke just throwing out the gas grenades, and it meant that they had to push very slowly and while taking damage. And once they actually got in, they had to keep moving. They couldn't sit in the plant spot and just do the plant. And also the incoming from the Skylight walks straight into a lesion trap. So first thing she does when she drops down, she can't sprint. She has to pull it out. And so honestly, it just really made it so difficult for Cryptik. eINS really dominated that, and like I was saying, I'm really proud that eINS have managed to bring this back. Nonetheless, they have to win another one in order to take it to overtime. It is still a match point for Cryptik.
They also did use the pulse quite well as well. Exactly. On the same spot, might I add. On the same spot, taking out Ying, I believe. And that was, I believe, what was that needed disruption to prevent the plan.
Yeah, never underestimate the Pulse and Valkyrie play from beneath. That C4, the information is, you can't underestimate it. There's no way you can underestimate it. I really like that camera that got thrown out there. I believe that went all the way onto one of the objects on the roof, so they will be able to have really good visibility all the way up there. Cryptik setting themselves up to be, they've been very dominant on this defense in the past.
They've been indeed. And that does work. Ysera, pretty much, on Pulse. Ysera on Pulse was the savior of Cryptik on their defense for the Baron.
And once again, we have Jackal coming out from eINS.
Okay.
Are they going to bring the Jackal and use it to hunt the Pulse and eliminate that before they actually go in there and get C4'd?
That is actually a good question. And more of, would Jackal be able to track down Pulse and not try to go for any other defenders?
He's definitely capable. Whether or not he makes it his priority, we'll just have to see. But we have a lot of contention here happening inside of Piano.
Ysera will be roaming around the train museum, meanwhile, trying to find the right spot for the C4 from below. Revik rotating to the white stairs, expecting the push through the garage, but nothing will be coming from there, as the rest of eINS will be going for the standard push from the rooftop so far. But that's only so far. The moment they will be dropping towards the bar, I promise you Ysera will be already on the case if he will not be tracked down by Shin, honestly, who is already downstairs.
Yeah, I'm quite concerned for eINS at the moment. If they don't find out this Pulse and eliminate him, they're gonna lose this round. That's all I'm gonna say, honestly.
And with Ysera actually covering quite some spot. Oh,
why when I said it?
Caught pants down by Shin, and that is Pulse gone.
Absolutely cool that they did exactly what they had to. They used the Jackal, they found the Pulse, they've eliminated that hard counter, that incredibly powerful force that's been driving this defense. And now it's a 5v4. We know eINS are good at pushing it at the last minute. We know that they're good at running with it and trading each other back, even if it's down to 20 seconds.
And now that they have that numbers advantage, this could be big. The Shin actually just dodges a couple of bullets, and the onesie just comes around. He's ready and good to go for the pushes. Suzu secures that nice headshot onto Revik, and that is Mira down as well. 3v5 situation, Lunametal completely blind, and Arrowina just dropped down stairs. Quantic gets countered by onesie as well, but Shinbagel goes for the kill on Arrowina, decides to fall back. Lunametal will be taken out by Odin, and the plan is down. Shinbagel on a really low health, but will be taken out by onesie. And we'll be moving towards that overtime.
Overtime.
What are we seeing so far? The upsets and the unexpected. We're getting the unexpected, the best, the juiciest match so far.
Oh, this is juicy indeed. What I'm really seeing here is Cryptik being incredibly strong at what they do. They have all the right ideas. They know we got to bring a Pulse, we got to bring a Valkyrie, and eINS figuring it out as they go. Even when it doesn't work the first time, they say, oh, they brought a pulse and that pulse got a 4K. Let's bring a pulse. Oh, they win the round. Hey, last time that pulse killed us. Let's try and counter that. Bring a Jackal. Done.
As well as the fact that Onesie at the last moment decided to emphasize on the push under the bar. That's what also helped, because Quantic was just about to be ready to rain some fire from below with that Jaeger.
Honestly, they're from having that, Cryptik had set themselves up to have a backup to that pulse. They had the Valkyrie as well. The Valkyrie has C4, the Valkyrie has the cameras, the teammates can sit on the cameras and ping. I was really disappointed that we didn't see Lunar Metal once the pulse fell. We didn't have Lunar Metal also go downstairs to be that person to throw up the C4, because I think that could have denied the plant and won the round.
The thing is, though, that Lunar Metal was already at the objective because he potentially have tried to counter with the C4 from the bar, but that what played a really bad joke on him, because Odin managed to push in very aggressively with those Candela charges going off. Yeah,
exactly. Once the Candela charges went off, once the smokes went down, as soon as the Valkyrie tried to throw it out, got put down.
Yep.
Now we are on overtime. The coin flip has decided that it is Cryptik defending one more time. And look at that.
Look at that throw. Kobe. Somebody call Kobe.
Well, they are going to be heading down onto Fireplace. So we are going to see, once again, this level of contention from Cryptik this time. Upstairs, we actually have 3 players upstairs still. Last time we had a really nice set of murder holes, as you can see from that mirror downstairs. They're actually using the vertical plate from below upwards.
Erwin actually manages to spot Quantic and tag him up just to half health. And now Quantic is in a bit of a problematic position, because he does need to push out to stay away, because now the rest of eINS know where he is at the moment.
Exactly, but thing is, as a roamer like that, being in a position like that, what you can do, if you're being pressured, is sit there and wait for them to peek you and then shoot them. And yeah, it's risky. Yeah, you're not going to have the peeker's advantage. Yeah, you're not going to be unpredictable. But if you peek now and you die, then they're just going to go, all right, 1 down, 4 more to go, let's go.
Okay. That does sound sensible.
Yeah, from eINS' perspective right now, they're like, okay, we know one's here. We've got to take him out, and then we can move on to the others. If he doesn't peek, then you're not going to be able to take him out. You're still stuck at that step, and they're not going to make their way forward. So now Arena is going to have to get really aggressive in here, and they're going to have to push right onto Quantic.
If only Arena knew about the spot where Quantic was, that wallbang would have been just absolutely ridiculous.
Although someone droning.
Quantic!
What a shot!
Will be shut down, and Erwin will be securing that kill. Shin will be taking out Shin Bagel as well. 3v5 situation.
Oh, wow. eINS are really setting themselves up to win this attack.
That doesn't look good for them. And now that Revik is also tagged up pretty heavily. 35 seconds on the clock. Cryptik will need to withstand that aggressive push from eINS, from that 5-man force.
Look at it. Yeah.
And the moment, if they will be able to secure the link break with Erwin and just getting the kill on Lunar Metal, and Ysera securing the kill on Odin, so Shin will be taking out Revik all up to Ysera to clutch this up. But
there you go. A very beautiful, very tidy round from eINS gives them the first round in this best-of-3 overtime.
That's very tight so far.
Beautiful shots.
Very beautiful shots, but I feel that Cryptik, maybe it's the pressure of the whole land. Maybe there's something else, but they do seem to be missing out like a couple of moments and just seem to be too hasty.
A little bit of a buckle coming out maybe, but honestly, something that I just noticed, ooh, I'm going to point that out in a minute. All right, something we noticed just on that previous round is that Cryptik decided they got defense first. They could have gone to wherever they wanted, and they decided to go Fireplace to be unpredictable. And eINS didn't bring the vertical operators like Buck and Sled, but it didn't matter because they won anyhow. Moving on here, Cryptik, Lunar Metal playing this Montaigne. Now, this is something that I know dating back for a long time. Back when Team Cryptik were Envy and they played at the Invitationals in Canada, I know they brought Montaigne so much, and they did amazing things with Montaigne. And I've actually also seen eINS play a bit of Montaigne too. So, you know, Montaigne fell out of meta after kind of the Glaz meta came in, and, you know, we're going to have to see how it turns out for him. But I really like this Lunar Metal saying, look, all right, guys, we got to win. This is match point. This is series point. We need to bring something. Let's go back to our roots. We know that they're not going to know how to do this. We hope. Let's just make this work for us.
this is actually a very dangerous point for Cryptik, because if they will lose this attack, that means they will be out.
Yes.
No matter the odds, how everyone kept on continuously saying that Cryptik will be the one.
Yeah, this is a gamble on Cryptik's part, but do you think we are going to see an 11th round?
Oh, I'd say definitely there should be an 11th round.
I feel like Cryptik deserve every last second in this match. As the eINS, these teams are so close that we've had overtime twice in a row. Cryptik only taking it convincingly on Oregon, the first map. We are going to see the firstly, we are going to be having all of the top floor being attacked. I really like this. The way they use Lunar Metal as a kind of roam hunter, pushing straight on in. Going to be finding Air Arena first as Air Arena heads on back into White Hallway.
They would also give out the call out that where did Air Arena go, so they will be going on that interception, but I don't think they know of the roamer on the white stairs.
Exactly.
Just yet.
This is going to be a problem for Lunar Metal here. He can't walk into this crossfire because his shield only covers the front of his body. So he's trapped now, and he has to get his teammates to help out.
And now we are seeing Onesie actually holding angle in the cigar lounge, just waiting for the right moment to push out. He could get a very nice drop on Shinbagel, but he will be spotted by Azera. Will be forced to just drop out and come back to the objective in a very hastily manner.
Nonetheless, meanwhile, we do have Air Arena setting himself up to actually flank red stairs and could come up behind Shinbagel in just a moment. So, I mean, while Cryptik have taken control of the top floor, Onesie gets taken down by Shinbagel. That is the first frag of the round.
And we are seeing, Rebek going for a kill on Air Arena as well. Lunar Metal will be dropping down and could potentially catch one of the roamers and give out the call out. Shinbagel will still not be that hasty. Shin will be actually securing the headshot on Rebek and trading him out, making it a 3v4 situation. Now it's all up to the three defenders to be able to secure their win for this whole matchup.
The last time that we had eINS out of numbers, at this defense, they had 2 players on site, 2 players off site. At the moment, they have 2 players on site, 1 player off site. I still think they have what they need. As one player actually drops all the way down, Shin picks up a second onto Yazera. That's one of the strong fraggers on this team. It's now only 2 guns on Cryptik's side and 1 massive shield.
And with 10 seconds on the clock, we do... Cryptik will need to go for the plant. Shin goes for a very nuts flank around. Quantic will be going for the flank, but Shin will be shut down. The plant will happen, and Lunar Metal will be taking some of the attention of Odin Miso.
Beautiful 1v1 here with the shield. Can Lunar Metal manage to get this? All he has to do now is delay time and push Odin into his teammates. Suzu managed to start the workout and take down Quantic. It's now a 2v2.
A 2v2 situation indeed, and a very close one. Shinbagel will be pushed by Odin Miso. All up to Montaigne.
Match point.
To clutch this up for the match point.
And Lunar Metal. It's now a 1v1.
Lunar Metal will be securing the kill on Odin Miso, and now Smoke will be just pretty much cornered.
And the Montaigne is going to win this.
At the Montaigne's mercy. He will need to do something. Oh, the bait!
Yes!
The bait from Lunar Metal.
But does he have time? Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. eINS winning this series. What was that?
No, that was Cryptik. Cryptik won that last minute. There was not enough time for the defuse. Absolutely neck and neck. Had me guessing every second of the way. I thought it's a 2v2. The defenders have got this. I thought, oh my god, it's a 1v1. Montaigne's got this. Then Montaigne falls, and there wasn't enough time. That was the most intense match, the most intense round of this entire matchup.
That was very nerve-wracking in that regard.
You were right. 11th round, here we are.
11th round.
2 maps in a row.
And now Cryptik going on defense.
Honestly,
what do you think could happen?
Last time, Cryptik lost their defense because they went fireplace. They were trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit interesting, because they know they had lost their top floor at some point. They went downstairs, and they lost it because eINS has been playing exceptionally well in this overtime. Cryptik now deciding, no, all right, downstairs isn't cutting it. Let's go back up. Let's go to our favored bomb sites. eINS is going to read into that. I can guarantee it. The thing is here, they've gotten rid of the pulse.
Right.
So Cryptik has gotten rid of the pulse, which is the thing that was giving them the wins, and then eINS countered that, so eINS won. But they've traded it for Ysera playing the Ella.
Yeah, and Shinbagel's back on Castle.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think that it's really interesting to see that Cryptik are obviously seeing, okay, this isn't working, we need to try this differently. This isn't working, we need to try this differently. The Montaigne worked for them.
Montaigne actually did work quite wonders for them.
I definitely think that was a success for the Montaigne. Now for Cryptik, getting rid of that pulse, it's because it's predictable now, and Shin is going to look out for it with the Jackal. Thing is, Ysera now is going to be having to, his role is no longer to deny the plant, his role is to get frags. Because he is Ella, and he is that 51 bullet magazine. He's got to make it count.
Yes, and we will be seeing so far just usage of a couple of utilities just to get things starting. Nothing that exciting as of yet. With Quantic, and I believe that was Luna Metal roaming around the cigar lounge. The flooring just above the bomb has been opened up, so there's still that potential to deny the drop. So it's all there. Shin will be already making his way over to the ground floor and will be potentially attempting to flush out the roamers.
Yeah, something we've seen Cryptik do a lot of in this map is opening up the floor and defending from below as well as from above.
Yeah, so they do tend to utilize that vertical gameplay to the maximum for them, but at the same time, they still seem to be missing some of the rotations as Shin does go for those pushes, and I'm quite curious if they will be expecting those aggressive pushes from Jackal in attempt to track down the roamers.
Couple of shots there from Shin on the Jackal do miss out. I'm actually a little bit disappointed. I would have expected that Luna Metal on the Valkyrie would be the one to play downstairs now, just in case, or at least be in a position to rotate down to use that C4. But it looks like he's not going to, and I think he's just going to get cut off by those Ying Candelas, and he isn't going to actually have an effect when it comes down to the crux of the push.
All right, that is fair enough as well. But seeing as Ysera now switched on to Ella. What do you think? How different the playstyle of Ysera is going to be?
I think very different. He's going to be playing a kind of hit and run style. As you can see, he is currently roaming down, and they are droning him out, but he is in a position to very quickly rotate to almost wherever he needs to. Meanwhile, the eINS, with 30 seconds now, they've almost established no beachhead. Shin is still looking for this roamer. There's no beachhead inside of Piano, and the entire freezer wall is open.
And we do see indeed the attempt to set up the flashbangs by eINS, but the ADS will be blocking that Candela charge. The flashes will be coming out. Ysera gets the first kill on 1Z. 1Z. Arrowena getting the kill on Ysera. Revik getting the kill on Arrowena. Odin getting the knife on Luna Metal, and Suzu getting the kill on Quantic. Shin will be securing the kill on Shin Bagel.
And the knife!
The knife on Revik will be secured